Money boy, money boy, money boy. Trade. Money boy, money boy, money boy. Trade. Private jet flights overseas. Damn piece.
Women, black, white, women are generally fragile, and and
Yeah, but
and
when you see the picture of Harriet Tubman, she doesn't look like a frail female. She looks pretty grimy. And like, yo, there's rumors that the people
uh-huh.
that she will help free. Hold on, let me just say
Oh
this:
yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
that she will help free certain slaves, and if she felt like an inkling of like you can't be trusted, she would shoot him dead, like dead in the head. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but my thing is that again, there were no cameras. There was, I mean, what proof do we have that even happened? Here goes my thing, right? Now, you are a man of you seem to be a survivalist. Like I think that if shit were to hit the fan, you would know how to survive. I think that you would know how to hunt. I think that you would know how to survive in the wilderness if society were to collapse, right? Now,
Right.
here goes my question to you. Here goes a woman who supposedly freed herself of slavery by herself. Now here goes a woman who went from state to state to state because she had to go from different states because certain states still had slavery. She came back multiple times, supposedly a dozen times. She walked. She didn't have a horse. She walked. She walked. She did it at night. What did she do for? What did she do? Okay, let's be honest. Now I've been to the South, and even in the winter, the South gets cold. It doesn't get frigid cold like the East Coast, but it gets cold. What does she do for
Mhm.
warmth? How does she avoid wild animals? What does she eat? Like I had all these questions growing up as a kid. I'm like, what the fuck does she eat?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, all right, those are good questions, but same thing with Franco's Dominic Toussaint. Like, how did he survive? How did he rally up the troops to assassinate a whole his whole entire oppressors that took over the land of indigenous people and brought over the West African slaves to enslave them to make sugarcane. You
Now
know what
that
I
was in
mean?
Haiti, right?
Right. It's yeah, in Haiti, the
But
west side of
see,
the island.
let's be completely honest. Haiti's a very tiny island. So Haiti's a very tiny island. Haiti is a tropical island. So he could do a lot of things because he wasn't fighting against the weather. One, he didn't have to fight against the weather. So he could and then you gotta think the island is so small, he can mobilize people a little bit different from a huge region of the country, which is the US in terms of the South. So and my thing is that all right, let's say this for example. If Harriet Tubman made it back to the plantations, we know you and I both know she didn't just walk up on the plantation in the daylight. She had to scope it out and wait until the night and then go to the slave quarters. How does she know which ones were the slave quarters? And then even if she did go to the slave quarters, you mean to tell me none of the slaves tried to snitch on her? None of the slaves said, "What you doing here?" You know how niggas are.
Yeah, but maybe at that specific moment, like niggas just kept their mouth shut. You know what I mean?
Possibly so.
Yo, what the Money Boy Trey say? I'm curious what he said.
He said, Harriet Tubman wore hoop African earrings.
Man, be serious for once, man. Let's be serious, Money Boy Trey. Damn, man. I'm thinking you about to say something profound and shit, and this is what
Of
I got.
course not.
Oh man.
Hey, I can only imagine Buddy Boy Trey just sitting there in his recliner with his big ass headphone. You know that big that his microphone attached to his headphones, just typing in
Yeah.
like just typing in shit. No, but like I said before, man, I'm not saying that Harriet Tubman didn't exist. I'm not saying that none of these things really happened. But I've always been a person to question everything. Like even like I just went back to the ancient Romans, right?
Hmm.
So the Romans, supposedly had this huge army and they went all over the planet. But my thing is that wait a minute, you're talking about legions of men just walking around. What did they eat? Where did they shit at? I mean, you're talking about hundreds of thousands of men. I find it almost impossible for some reason. Like I think a lot of things in history
Nah,
didn't
I mean,
happen.
cause
Go
like
ahead.
I feel you. You one of those type of dudes that you need facts, or you're not gonna believe in nothing. And here's the thing: back then, how niggas traveled and how they handle things is totally different from what we're doing now. You know, like
Well,
for
that's
them,
obvious.
yeah, for them to get to another state, they would travel 6 months. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So they will probably food prep for 6 months. You know what I mean? Um, you know, preserve the food that they best they can for 6 months and travel. You know what I mean? So and along the ways they'll probably kill like a mammoth or some shit. You know what I mean? Kill it, eat the meat, use the fur for blankets and
It's a
clothing
good
and
way
shit
to
like
think
that.
about it.
You know what I mean? So
That's a good way.
there's different ways of doing things at that time, that period of time where you probably couldn't even imagine of doing, but they did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, and I'm glad you said that. So people are laughing at you when you said mammoth. I think you probably meant like a bison or some shit.
Yeah, like a bison. Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
I know what you meant. Yeah, not a
Yo,
mammoth.
my
Yeah.
bad.
But then
Yeah,
again,
that shit is funny.
but then again, at one point, human beings had to kill mammoths 100,000, 200, whatever whenever a
Yeah, yeah,
mammoth
the Incas did
on the
that.
planet.
The Inca warriors used to do that. They used to kill the wildebeest mammoth, eat the meat, and use use his skin and fur for like clothing and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Now, Buddy Boy Trey said she was walking Rush with 6 months of food. Come on, man.
Yo, I'm not talking about Harriet Tubman, man. We talking about
He
something
said,
else,
"Come
man.
on, man." No,
Oh man.
but my thing is that it's just like in the '90s, right? Going back
Right.
in the '80s and the '90s, going back to what I was saying about Mike Tyson. Now, when I was a kid, yeah, the allure of Mike Tyson was like God, like he's like a god. But then when you get a little bit older, you start like doing your own research, you start questioning shit. You like, man, Mike Tyson wasn't really that great of a fucking heavyweight
No,
boxer
he
either.
he 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 was a great fighter, a great boxer.
He was a great boxer, but come on, man, he got dusted by everybody that counted.
Not
He
okay. The guy that
sir,
took him in, hold on. The guy that took him in trained him. You know what I
you talking
mean?
about
Like,
Customato, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, that like he has to get a lot of the credit of Mike Tyson accomplishing the things that he did, because without him, he probably would have never became a professional boxer.
Right, but
I
what I'm
feel like
saying is that it was more of the media created Mike Tyson than Mike Tyson created himself.
I mean,
Let's
in
be
a
honest.
sense, yeah. In a sense, yeah, you're right. You're right about that. You know what I mean? They created this persona of his persona of being this real intimidating black man that's able to whoop anybody's ass.
And he
But
wasn't.
I mean, you can't knock him, man. He was a formidable fighter.
Of course he was, but
You know what I mean?
yeah, I know. Don't get me wrong. He was a formidable fighter. He would be known for generations to come. But my thing is that it's just another example of the media inventing a black superhero, and that's always has been my problem. When Larry Holmes was the way, but I think Larry Holmes
No, I
probably
wouldn't say. I wouldn't say the media created a black superhero. Like I don't like. I don't. I don't look at Mike Tyson as somebody that's. I respect his craft, what he does, but I don't look up to him. You know what
right.
I mean?
Well, I mean, I don't think any man will look up to him right now. But what I'm saying is that there is a allure about um. Let me see. Kevin suffers from solipsism. Solipsism, or a form of it. I do it too. I do too. I'm gonna look that up real quick. What is that? I never heard that term before. Hey, hold on for a second, Rush.
Yeah, yeah.
Give me a second, bro. Solipsism, the view of theory that the self is all that can be known for to exist. Yeah, I see that. Yeah, I mean, like I said, man, I don't know what it is about me, but I've been like this since I've been a kid, man. I just question everything. I question so many things, and it's because there's so much information available. And like I said before, yeah, the women today are not like the women of the 1800s. Okay, I'll agree with that, right? Women
Mhm.
today are born into a society that's pretty much catered to them. They
Yeah, I
have,
mean,
I'll agree with that,
you
but
you got to understand that the women from back then, they can endure a lot more
of course.
challenges than the women in this day and age of time. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But not to knock women of what they do. You know what I mean? I'm just saying it's just you call a spade. You know what I mean? It is what it
Right,
is. You know?
right,
With no disrespect. You know what I mean?
right.
And man, honestly, man, I kind of I respect your objection towards that because why is she in all the history books? Why
Exactly,
is she getting all the fame? That's
exactly.
not cool. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
And like I said, it ain't like the white man is just like, oh yeah, Harriet Tubman, we love her. No, it's a reason why she's in all the history books and you never hear about Elijah Muhammad.
Maybe it's designed to not to have the next Nat Turner. You know what I mean? Or the
Hmm.
next Malcolm X. Or the next who else is an incredible dude.
Louis
Marcus
Farrakhan.
Garvey. You got niggas like Marcus Garvey. You know what I mean? Like these people are not talked about. Like I've learned about Marcus Garvey like later on in my years. I didn't learn about him when I was a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you learned about him from a black person. You didn't learn about him from a white
Yeah,
person.
you know what I mean?
Isn't that
So
ironic? And, I,
yeah,
and what I'm saying is that I'm not. And again, you and I both know that women now, I would only assume, are different from women back in the day. But let's just be completely honest. There were a lot, and of course you already know, but I'm just saying it again. But there are a lot of factors that I believe would have stopped one woman from leaving a plantation and going to the north from state to state. I just don't see it. I don't see it happening because people really forget the continental U.S. is really greenland and forest. It's true. Like a lot of people don't know. Like a lot of people don't know that. Like even if you drive through like a Tennessee or something, you're like, God damn, it has hella trees and shit. And so
right.
you got to think about back then. When back then, like 180, 175 years ago. Think
Yo,
about that.
maybe she got received help from other people. You know what I mean? That we don't
Yeah,
know about.
yeah, but maybe so. But then again, it wasn't like she had the internet or a cell phone either.
Yeah, that's true, man. But I mean, unfortunately, this is what we're fed. This is what we're fed to believe.
Money Boy Trey's funny as fuck. You see what he did?
Not what he do.
I put it in. I highlighted it. You see it?
Harriet Tubman, Wonder Woman.
Yeah, but you see where you see it. It's like Wonder Woman defeats Harriet Tubman with the arrow.
Yo, Money Boy Trey,
But
man, he shot out.
what I'm saying is that again, people forget that America has wolves. You ever seen a wolf before?
Yeah, I seen a wolf before, man. I
Would you ever
seen
want to be next?
fox, bears, all of that, my nigga.
Yeah, would you ever want to be next to a wolf?
Nah, son, them shits is vicious, man.
The vicious as fuck. And then
Yeah,
think about America has bears. America has I don't know if that region of the US had like, cougars and shit. But America has some vicious ass animals, man. And we tend to forget that. Like we think that America is not like Africa. No, America has some vicious ass predator animals that will not hunt and eat a human, but will certainly tear us to pieces if they're frightened enough or if they think that we've violated their territory. And so
I
I'm trying to
mean,
go ahead.
yeah, all these factors can't possibly stop her. But I mean, apparently it didn't because she's in the history books.
Now, Money Boy Trey says Harriet Tubman was the greatest outdoorsman ever. Yeah, and like and that's what I'm saying. It was like, okay, what did she, okay, think about this. If you ever went hunting, right? It takes a long time. Like you got to think about the amount of energy it takes to hunt. So even if she were to hunt, think about how long it would have taken her to kill a deer or kill another large, omnivore animal, or an animal that's an omnivore.
Right.
And then she would have to do it at a certain time. Think about the sleep. Like, where does she sleep at?
Yo, man, I don't know, but she did it. You know what I mean? Like in the history books, they're saying that she did it. So, I, I mean, like, I'm not gonna stand and like doubt that this took place. Because she's a real person. Like I've seen pictures of this old lady, and like, yo, man, like looking at her pictures, man, she looked like she'll body somebody on some
Yeah,
crazy
I mean,
shit.
her pictures look a certain way, but let's be honest. Harriet Tubman wasn't 6'4". She wasn't.
Yeah, she looks mad short.
Yeah,
She
I mean,
looked
she
like
wasn't.
about 5 feet tall, bruh.
Yeah, I mean, and that's another thing too, man. I mean, like, yeah, she may have worked on a plantation. She may have been a hardened woman, but she wasn't a prissy woman like the women we have now. But I just don't believe it. Like, I just question that shit, like, to the degree. I just don't
I
see
mean,
it.
yo, this now, and I hate to say this.
Money Boy Trey said she hunted deer with a shotgun. Impossible. Yeah, right.
But you got some chicks out there that could do some remarkable shit. Like,
Here's also my
learn
thing.
how to fit. Mhm.
There are a few black females that I really believe could
I'm
survive.
saying women. I'm not using a black woman for the just a black woman. I'm saying women in general.
Yeah,
Like,
well, okay, like, all right. So, for example, I think if you put, you know who Ann Wolf is?
yeah.
I think if you put Ann Wolf in nature, I think she could survive for a long time in nature. I think she could figure it out. I think she's strong enough to figure it out.
Why you could believe Ann Wolf could do it, but not
Well,
Harriet Tubman?
Ann Wolf is a. Well, I didn't say I didn't say I could. Listen, I'm not saying Harriet Tubman did or didn't, but I say in comparison to women today, I would pick Ann Wolf. Like, Ann Wolf is strong as shit. Like, she has a hard mentality. You know, she doesn't come off as a prissy female. You know,
Right. Nor looking at the pictures of Harriet Tubman, she doesn't look prissy either. You know what I mean?
that's true.
She looks pretty. Yo, word up, like, yo, she looks like a strong midget chick, like that get busy. You know what I mean?
Money Boy Trey said Harriet Tubman was in the Illuminati.
There we go again,
Jesus
man.
walked on water. Harriet walked through the woods. No light. And that's another thing
Yo,
too. She didn't have any light back. And that's what I'm trying to figure out too, man. It's like, listen, one thing about critical thinking is that it's nothing is wrong with, and I know I'm not telling you this, but I don't think there is anything wrong with asking these types of questions, because I think with black people too, we tend to just believe anything that anybody tells us, and I think that's
but
our
this is
major
not
fault.
this is not just anything though. This is a female that helped free slaves, and she just ended up becoming a prominent figure.
Hey, we can have a serious conversation. Hey, Reba Real Time just wrote.
Yo, why y'all disrespecting the? Yo, come on, man.
So, the thing is, man, is that I just, like I said, man, I just don't. Harriet Tubman wore Timberlands. Okay, now you're getting ridiculous now, Money Boy Trey.
Nah, I think she did rock boots though.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that's the only type of shoes that they had. But again, but what I'm saying is, man, is, listen, we know Harriet Tubman couldn't run a 4.40. What would have happened if she was getting chased by a goddamn mountain lion that was trying to protect her cubs?
Nigga, we ain't got mountain lions, man.
We do
Fuck
got
out of
mountain.
here, nigga.
Yeah, the United States has mountain lions in particular. Yeah.
Man, but not. All right, let me entertain this.
Okay, go
Okay,
ahead.
she sees a mountain lion. You don't think she could hide from a mountain lion?
Where would she hide? A mountain lion can climb a tree, and
So
they
I
have
don't
and they
know.
have incredible smelling.
maybe she could cover herself with a certain type of mud that prevents the mountain lion from smelling her.
So she would have did all this in a matter of 20 seconds.
Yo, one thing I know about people from down south, they got incredible knowledge for certain things that's not useful to us. Like nowadays, man, that kind of shit's not useful for us for no more because why? We live in cities, we ride in trains, and we drive cars now. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So it's not like we travel in woods and try to figure out how to navigate ourselves and protect ourselves from certain wild animals. It's
Okay.
like, yo, none of that it's not all of that is irrelevant now because yo, we are not that primitive. We're kind of like, I'm not gonna say we're advanced, but we up there.
These comments are more ridiculous than okay. Real Top said, imagine Harriet Tubman squaring up with the
Yo, niggas is funny, yo.
dude. I'm just listening, man. I'm just saying that I really believe that there's a lot of things about history that I believe are over exaggerated, and I'm
But
not knocking what you're. Go
but
ahead.
you don't. I think you enjoy stirring up shit like this.
No, I'm
Because
telling you, man. I've been a kid.
not not
Listen.
not not because
Uh-huh.
if this was probably like, and it's a good thing you didn't put that for a title, man.
Hell, no, I don't
Because
want
somebody
YouTube to
would,
cancel me.
yeah, man. Just off, cause people are emotional. They're gonna
Yeah,
react
they
in an
they
emotional
they
manner.
they cancel the channel because of that shit.
Yeah, so it's like,
Because that's what the white
yo,
man wants you to believe. He wants you to believe Harriet Tubman existed for some reason. Just like he wants you to believe Gandhi was this crazy. And I'm like, no, Gandhi was a fucking open racist, and Gandhi,
yeah,
that
Gandhi was
whole
a fucking dickhead.
yeah, and he didn't fucking walk all the way from one city to the. It'll take no, he didn't do all that walking and shit to the ocean to get free water. I mean, to get water. Get the fuck out of here. But anyway, man, like I was saying about Harriet, man, like I honestly believe. Okay, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Now, you were saying that people in the South are very ingenuitive, right? Now,
Hmm.
a mountain lion is certainly not a African savanna lion. Okay, we can understand that. It's not that type of lion, but it can rip you to pieces if it wanted to. My thing is that either if Harriet Tubman, if everything we learned about Harriet Tubman was real, MoneyBoy Trade, despite his trolling, is correct. She must have been one of the greatest outdoorsmen ever because she eluded wolves, snakes, coyotes, bears, mountain lions for years. And she did it over and over. And she somehow managed to feed herself every damn day. Or at least
Yo,
every other couple of days or something.
she had to have some type of help. Somebody helped her, and
Like
it's
herself.
not. And it's not. It's like, do we have no information on that? But she is known for freeing like what 300 slaves.
Well,
How many was
according
it?
to according to real history, she admitted to freeing 70. What's up, man?
What's going on, gentlemen?
What's up, man? How you
Yo,
doing?
what up? What up? What up? What up, Money Boy Trey?
Man, I'm hearing you be a Harriet Tubman apologist, and it's quite shocking.
Nah, man. I'm just saying, man. Like out of respect for my peoples, man. I'm being respectful about
Hey,
it. You know
hey,
what I mean?
okay, real time. Okay, now you're getting okay. Now you're being ridiculous, man. He said Harriet Tubman wasn't caught by the bloodhouse on her period.
Right. That's what I'm saying. What did she do on that time of the month? Did she just not travel? Like, Rush, this shit ain't making no sense. It wasn't no roads, bro. Do you know how the terrain she had to go through? Alligators and some more shit.
Well, I mean, so you also don't believe that Harriet Tubman is a real person that freed slaves, then?
No
Also,
more, no more than Jesus. I think Harriet Tubman led black. If she did exist, she led black people from white slave owners to other white people. We don't know what happened to the slaves once she took them to the other white people, because she had to come back down south and free some more people.
I mean, yeah. I mean, well, if she's not, if what she did was okay, is the thing that she's famous for freeing slaves. right? What is the purpose of pushing this information out to the masses?
What
What's
was
the
the
purpose?
what was the purpose of putting out Kunta Kinte? It's just a feel good story, a feel good moment. It's fiction. They gave us Jesus. They gave us Santa Claus. Niggas love their entertainment. Is that the answer you wanted to hear?
And Rush, I'm not gonna lie to you. Even when I was a kid, and I'm not trying to say I was a genius or anything, but when I was a kid in kindergarten and first grade, when I first heard about Harriet Tubman from my white school teachers, because my parents certainly never told me about Harriet Tubman. My parents told me about Marcus Garvey and shit like that. My parents never mentioned Harriet Tubman. Even when I mentioned Harriet Tubman, they kind of had this look like, damn, like they got to him. But my thing is that I know,
Yo, you
I
got
know
funny.
that I know that women today in modern times could not survive if shit were to hit the fan. Now, I will admit it does make more logical sense that women back then were probably stronger because they had to do more physical laborers work. But my thing
Yeah,
is, it's still a woman. Women didn't genetically change overnight. So what I'm saying is that they had to adapt to that climate. But what I'm saying is that again, and it's not for you because I already said this. America has a lot of predator animals, and especially back then. I've seen videos of. It was a recent video of this kid in fucking California who barely escaped being mauled to death by a mountain lion that had just given birth because the mountain lion was protecting her kids. This motherfucker was walking backwards. Literally, he did not turn his back on this fucking cougar for at
all
least
right.
a
Well, let
mile.
me ask you a question, right? If
Yeah.
an alligator's chasing you, how do you escape an alligator?
Well, you can outrun an alligator. You can just hop on the. You can outrun.
How can you outrun the alligator? How?
Because the alligator is not going to chase you for over probably 100 yards. The alligator is not a long distance
Wrong.
runner.
If you run straight ahead, right, an alligator can catch you. But if you're running in zigzags, they can't maneuver to catch you. You know what
Okay,
I mean?
well I didn't
Well,
know that.
well,
So
well,
these are certain key points that maybe from back in the day these old heads knew, and they were able to survive in the wilderness.
nigga, they was running at night. You can't see a crocodile or alligator at night. All they had
Yo,
was
listen, man.
moonlight. You can't have
I'm just
torches
saying,
because that would alert the police.
I'm just saying. People from down south, they have a lot more knowledge on how to survive in the wilderness than people
Hey
like
Rush,
me living
people
up
is
north in the city.
Rush,
You know
but
what I
people
mean?
are what? Hey dude, real time said running the zigzag. Right.
The fuck is that supposed to do?
Hey Rush, man, listen. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. You do sound like a Harriet Tubman apologist, man.
No, it's like, yo,
He won't let it
I
go like
mean,
white Jesus. He like she exists.
I
nah,
think it.
man. I'm just. First of all, there's no such thing as a white Jesus, but like,
Or a black one.
nah, that's on you. You know what I mean? But
Okay,
Or
listen,
Harriet.
listen. Okay, how about this? Let's bring it back real quick. Have you ever seen a bear in real life? Like not at the zoo, but in real life?
nah,
I
not in
saw I
person.
saw one bear in real life, and it was dead. It was on the side of the road when I was driving to DC. Now,
Right.
a bear can run and climb a tree, sir. Now, I could only assume that bears were very popular. Like they populated a lot of the South back in the day.
We
Sir, I'm
running
Right.
to
not lying to you.
Tennessee now.
Right. I'm a fucking man, sir, and I would have been terrified to go from state to state, knowing that there are bears existing. I'm like, man, get the fuck out of here. And listen, those little and people in the chat were like, "Well, she had a shotgun." Listen, those little muskets back then, sir. I highly doubt that it would have been effective on a fucking bear.
How many shots did she have for this shotgun?
I feel like, yo, y'all just, I don't know,
They
man. Just
they make it
Bruh,
they make
and
it
we
seem like Harriet Tubman had an arsenal when I was in first grade. Like, oh yeah, she was banging out like
bruh,
she had
yo, yeah,
nines.
I can,
and she
yo, y'all
did
just straight
all
up
of this in a
trolling
dress
Harriet
though.
Tubman,
Would
man.
would you say would you say Money Boy Trey?
She did all this in a dress.
What say you, Rush? Did she do it in a dress?
I mean, yo, man,
That's what the
I don't know
pictures
what to
show.
say, man.
Say the pictures don't show her in a fucking dress.
Hey, Real Time said, laughing my ass off, she had an Elmer Fudd Glock. Hey, Rush, seriously, man. Seriously, sir. Okay, sir. So let's be honest. You appear to believe that you believe that 90 to 100% of the story of Harriet Tubman is correct, sir. Do you believe that?
I mean, I'm not gonna.
I'm just asking because I want to ask you another question. I just want you to answer that first question. Do you believe that?
And it's, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
why not? Why not?
Okay. Let me ask another question. Okay, it's a random day during her journey to or from the plantation, slaving slaves. What did she eat? Go ahead, sir. How did she eat and what did she eat? How did she do
Yo,
it?
I don't know, man. They don't spring none of this shit in the history books.
What did
Maybe
she
they
do
should.
during hurricane season?
Yo,
What
man,
she do
I
when
don't know, man.
tornadoes hit?
Again, man, like I said, maybe she received some type of help, man. You know, you never know.
So she just knocked on somebody's door.
I mean, yo, when you live in a certain land for a certain amount of time, you meet people, you know people, you hold relationships. You know what I mean?
Get the
So,
fuck out of here.
yeah,
Get the
you know what
fuck
I'm saying,
out of
man?
here.
I don't know, man. Like I can't tell you, nigga. I'm not like a fan of this lady. I mean, I
She was
just
the
know,
first Girl Scout.
Money Boy,
yo,
let me ask
man.
you a question. Money Boy, let me ask you a question. So you've always thought about this, then, huh?
Yes.
See, and that's what I'm saying. Like, so when did you start questioning things like this? And what grade was it?
Well, I didn't hear about Harriet Tubman in my school. I don't remember when the fuck I heard about her, but it definitely wasn't through ninth grade.
Okay.
So it had to be like towards the end of high school, and it's probably that brief Black History Month shit.
And you basically was like bullshit.
It's like this don't seem right.
Uh-huh.
This is a female.
But you didn't express your beliefs around them niggas that you went to, because you're in Tennessee, so those some niggas down there.
Exactly. It's just like, how did Harriet Tubman do works greater than Nat Turner? He was a man.
He was a man on a small island too, by the way.
None of the men slaves overpowered her when her back was turned as they were going through this wilderness at night.
Well, according to the picture, she was ugly as shit. So I wouldn't.
No, I'm just saying, like, to take her gun. Like, well, fuck this. We going back, bitch.
Right. What about that, Rush?
I mean, maybe she had some type of strong influence towards
Maybe.
her crew. You know what I mean?
I can see that.
Her crew. So now she had a crew. So how many people were walking back and forth with this bitch?
Man, I don't know, man. I'm just saying, like, for conversation's sake, man. Jeez.
Hey Rush,
Like,
what this conversation reminds me of? This conversation reminds me of in the movie Barbershop, when Cedric the Entertainer's character was saying that Rosa Parks wasn't what they had thought she was, and everybody was like, "What the fuck you mean?" And truth be told, I feel like in the black culture, why do we find it blasphemous to question things about history in the black? It's the weirdest thing to me. Like we
I
find
mean,
it.
okay, first of all, and you're right. You know what I mean? You're totally right.
Uh
This
huh.
conversation is similar to the barbershop. But the reason why majority of the people of our community takes this to the heart, because I guess it's the only thing that represents them, of that gives them some type of value. Like, hey, I'm not just a nigga. Look what Harriet Tubman did, or
Hey
look what
Rush.
Nat Turner did.
how
I
does that
mean,
affect your life, what Harriet Tubman did?
no, I'm
You
not. I'm
said
not
it.
speaking for me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't
You
really.
believe she exists, so how does that affect your life?
Wait a minute, man. Yo, how y'all gonna flip this shit on me, man?
Because
Yo,
these are your beliefs.
Hey, Russ, hold on, Russ. I'm from Cleveland, right? So,
right.
Russ, you ever been to Cleveland?
Nah, I never been to Cleveland.
Okay. So Cleveland is the most northern city in Northeast Ohio, as well as other smaller cities like Euclid, Ohio, East Cleveland, Ohio, etc. Right. So at the border, we have Lake Erie, and then Lake Erie to Canada is 200 fucking miles. Now, when I was a kid, I swear to God, I asked my first grade teacher. I said, "Well, if the slaves made it all the way to Ohio and supposedly they went to Canada, how did they get to Canada?" This bitch told me, "Oh, they had boats and shit, and they sailed to Canada." I said, "What?" I said, "Wait a minute." I was like, "Wait a minute." I was like, "Hold on for a second." Now, this is what you guys. Now, this is what you guys don't know. Lake Erie not only is one of the Great Lakes, but Lake Erie is one of the choppier lakes. Like it's very choppy. Like a lot of people have lost their lives on Lake Erie. And if you come to Cleveland, if you ever see like our waves and shit, you will see what I'm talking about. Like the waters are very very choppy. And I'm like, wait a minute. Let's stroke of the imagination. There were some magical boats that were waiting for the slaves. How did they manage to like get across that 200-mile journey to Canada? We'll say you, Rush.
Yo, I have no idea, but yo, like I told you, back then people used to travel like months to get to a certain location. So I don't know how they planned this or how they got it done because I wasn't there back then, you know what I mean?
Where did Harriet get her boots from, Russ? Because
Oh,
most slaves were barefooted.
see, Rush. I mean, MoneyBoy Tracy, and I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that. Like, huh?
Yo, maybe she bodied somebody for their boots, man. I don't know. Maybe
This
somebody
bitch,
gave it to them.
do you hear how incredible this bitch is?
So hold on, hey, Rush, hold on for a second. So going on your theory, if she bodied somebody for her boots, that would mean that she would have had to body another woman because she didn't body a man because she would be wearing a size 12 or 13.
Yo, man. I don't know, man.
And what
Yo,
woman was
yo,
walking around in boots?
maybe the story Kevin tell me isn't real. I don't know.
Shit. No, like I said, man. Like I said, I'm not saying it's real or fake. I'm just questioning everything about Harriet Tubman and life itself, man. A lot of things in life that I've always questioned stories about. I used to get chased out of classrooms in college for my beliefs. Sometimes I told you.
Like,
Hmm. What'd you say, bro?
hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Money Boy Trey, you still there?
Yeah, I can hear
Oh,
y'all.
okay. Now, what were you about to ask, Rush?
Like, what were the things that you were speak? What would be the things that you would speak on to
Dude.
have the other classmates chase you out the classroom?
Oh, my nigga, and I'm for real. I mean, like literally, like the teacher had to like escort me out. Like, dude, I used to write papers on like I wrote a paper in one of my African studies class about how Adolf Hitler was the greatest. We had to write a paper on who was the
Yo,
greatest.
wait a minute. Yo. Yo. You
Yeah,
wrote what?
we had to write a paper in a. It was a discourse. It was a written discourse class, and so I have a couple of bachelor's degrees, but one of them is African studies. So it was a class. It was like a written discourse class or some shit, and it was a part of the African studies class. And basically we had to write a paper on who was one of the greatest leaders in the 20th century. And I said Adolf Hitler. Now motherfuckers is writing papers on, you know, Martin Luther King and shit like that. And I was about to blow their head away with
What
this nigga.
made you choose Adolf Hitler?
Because when I was a kid, I was infatuated with the Nazi regime. I used to read books on Nazi Germany. Oh man, I was all into that shit. And growing up,
Now, what I've read about Adolf Hitler's experience on the Jews,
My
like a
bad.
lot of modern day medicine derives from that.
hmm but no, I had wrote a paper on Adolf Hitler, and I said that he was one of the greatest leaders, if not the greatest leader in the 20th century. Man, the people in the class was like, "Nigga, what the fuck?" And I'm like, "Well," I was like, "Hold on for a second. Just wait a minute." Now, according to history, Adolf Hitler he took a country that was on the brink of poverty because of World War I. He turned it into a superpower. His scientists created all types of feats. They created the rocket. I mean, they created the rocket. They created the Autobahn. They did all this, and he created a military. The Germans did not colonize other people on the planet like other European nations. So you could say that the German government was had a lot of morals compared to England, which had fucking colonies all over the planet. So I was trying to like talk logically to the niggas. Them niggas got up, was walking over to me. I was like, oh, and these niggas I know from school. I'm like, oh, let me get the fuck up out of here, man. Yeah.
Yo,
Rush.
But
Did Harriet Tubman wear a fanny pack to hold her extra ammo in?
yo, man, I don't know, man. But I'm interested. Yo, finish your story, Kev. Like
no. I mean, if you think about Nazi Germany, the Germans were very ingenuitive, and there was no unemployment in Germany at the time when Hitler was in power. And I said that it's incredible that he did all of this, and he was only in office for 12 years.
and
Them niggas was like,
how old were you when you took this class?
I was about 22, 20, like 21 or 22 years old. I was a whole ass man, and maybe a little bit younger, maybe 21. And the kids were like, nigga, he killed 50 million Jews, motherfucker. I'm like, sir, how did he kill 50 million Jews? You weren't even there at the time. You weren't there. You don't know what he did. The man won Man of the Year by Time Magazine. Obviously, he was revered by other people back then. It's just the fact that he's been demonized in the media, in Western media. Like, what are you talking about? But you can't talk facts to niggas either, though. What I've learned too in life. Yeah, you
Right.
can't. That niggas don't understand facts. I'm like, he
Yeah.
was in Time Magazine. He killed 50 million Jews, nigga. I'm like, sir, you don't know if he killed 50 million Jews. How did you know that? There weren't even 50 million Jews. Sir, there weren't even 50 million Jews in fucking Europe at the time, let alone in Germany. What the fuck are you talking about? You mean to tell me it was 50 million Jews in Germany? Stop it. How did he round them up? You walked over to somebody and said, are you Jewish? Get the fuck out of here.
The Jewish registry.
Right. All I'm saying is, Rush, is that as a people, we need to question everything, even about our own history, man. I'm telling you.
No, I mean, yo, I
People don't
feel
even
you on that.
do
I
people don't
feel
even
you on that.
do people get mad at me when I tell them that Martin Luther King was an adulteress?
Yeah, he
Why?
did have a side piece though.
I don't
Why?
know,
That
niggas just
nigga
get
he's human.
yeah.
But it doesn't take away what he tried to accomplish back then.
What did he try to accomplish? What did he do?
And I'm about to say something that probably is going to piss off some people, but Martin Luther King kind of fucked us up. You know what I mean? Because
Well, we
back
all know
then
that.
we had the state of mind of having our own community and keeping our money circulated through us, but with the whole thing with him wanting us to integrate with the whites, kind of fucked that up. You know what I mean?
Listen, if I would have went into a restaurant back then and people were pouring milkshake on me, motherfucker would have got stabbed to death. And what I'm saying is that I can't believe that black people would want to go to a place like that. I'm like, nigga, if you don't want me there, fuck you. I don't want to go there. Fuck you. I make my own goddamn milkshake.
It's about receiving acceptance. Niggas want to be
Right.
accepted.
Not me.
Man.
Not enough for you pouring fucking milkshakes on my black ass.
Yeah, but not
Fuck out of here.
everybody is
See no goddamn
as
porno.
not
Rush.
everybody is as logical as you. You know what I mean?
Possibly
What's up?
so.
What's up,
Check
Money
this.
Boy Trey?
Check this out. Now, Martin Luther King was a man. He couldn't overpower the people that he was with in modern times, and he wouldn't dare walk. He didn't walk from Atlanta to Birmingham. And you saying this lady walked? I can't even get it out.
Because it sounds so ridiculous, don't it, man?
Yo, man,
They had
listen,
highways and he didn't even walk.
listen, man. I don't know how she did it, but
She did.
apparently she had to do something for her to make it in the history books.
Man,
There's
if
Hey,
something
she
money
that
boy. I
to
did,
this
mean, hey,
day.
Rush. Let me say
Yeah,
something real quick.
yeah.
I'm gonna be completely honest with you. All right. I don't even think Harriet Tubman existed at all. Like, and I'm be completely. I was trying to hold it in. I don't even think she. I think it's just all created. I don't even think she even existed.
If she's okay. I'm just trying, like give me something where I could be like, you know what, man, maybe she was created.
nigga,
I think
Jesus,
everything we've
Jesus
been
Christ,
saying,
Jesus Christ.
everything we've been saying, bro. This you saying this lady walked from down south to up north with no streets and could only and could only move at night with no GPS, no MREs, one shotgun.
Musket.
She never twisted her ankle or shit. Never stepped like that. Just nothing. She avoided all animals, everybody in the pod. It all went perfect.
Yo,
Nobody caught chicken pox, flu, nothing.
And she did it. And she did it multiple times.
By
yo,
night.
I can't front. Yo, this shit do sound far fetched. It does.
Dude,
Like now,
when I was 6, I would never forget it. When I was 6 years old, and my teacher told me about that, I was like, now mind you, I got my little name tag on in my class, and I'm like a little kid. I was like, this don't make any sense. Of course, you can't say shit back then. You know, back then, teacher would slap the fucking shit out of you. Back then, even the white teachers used to hit us. I'm like, God damn. And what I'm saying is, man, it's like that shit. It don't make any sense, man.
Bruh. Did she have to stuff her musket with gunpowder to shoot it?
yo,
Hold on for a second. Hold on
I
for a
can't
second.
believe we're trolling Harriet Tubman.
Hold on for a
Like
second.
we're
Don Philly.
trolling
No,
her.
hold on for a second. Don Philly says, Kev, you are real life on head. They have pictures of her. Sir, they have pictures of Jesus Christ too.
They got pictures of
No, they
Harriet in a
don't.
dress.
They
That
have a
just
They
picture
makes
of
have
it
pictures,
sound
Caesar
even
sir.
Borgia.
worse.
Don Philly, they have pictures of Zeus. Sir, a lot of this shit that we were born in the latter part of the 20th century, most of us. Meaning that most people in this chat room were born after 1975. Nobody really fucking knows what happens in 1875, sir. 100 fucking years ago. I mean, 100 years before our births. So all that shit could just be manufactured and made up. Nobody really knows.
Especially not no short, fat black lady in a dress that walked.
Go ahead, Rush.
Obviously, you guys gonna believe what you guys believe in. You know what I mean, but I'm just saying, from a logical perspective,
Mm-hmm.
she had to accomplish something for her to make it on the history books. You know what
Bro,
I mean?
Kunta Kinte is part of the history books and it's a fictional character. It means nothing. Say it's not. All the characters on Color Purple are fucking historical. They're not real. The Amistad, it's powerful black people work. Eh, not real.
Hey, Rush, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Do you and listen? I'm not trying to make this episode clowning you or anything like that. Of course not. When did the white man started making stories about superheroes?
All right. Like, the things I could.
Like
Okay.
Superman, Spider Man. Like when it? Cause
Right. Like I say about what? I don't know. Like what? Hold on. When was the? Because I know DC been around forever. Like
right.
DC been around before Marvel.
What if I told you that they started creating superhero stories? Because these people don't know this, but superheroes were not a part of cultures throughout the world. The superhero mythology started in Western society, and it started like in the mid 1800s. You can look it up.
Like World War II, right?
No, it was the mid 1800s. They started making superhero stories. Like I can't remember the first one. So isn't it ironic that supposedly Harriet Tubman existed like around the time when they started making superhero stories too? I think that the story of Harriet Tubman was just a superhero story or some real shit. And then honestly, I think it just got lost in translation over the years. I think that's all what I think it is. I think it's all bullshit.
They made her greater than Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass didn't even put in the amount of miles and work and man hours that Harriet Tubman did. I wonder if those people knew each other. I wonder if Nat Turner, Frederick Douglass, and Harriet knew each other.
I don't think that Turner. It could be so. I don't know. But all I'm saying is, Rush, man, it's just like I feel like.
Okay,
Go ahead.
okay, okay. The DC superhero comic character of Superman was created in the year 1938.
Right, but if you do some more, you in front of a computer.
Yep.
Just type in first superhero or whatever. I think it's like in the 1800s, like the 1840s or 50s, something like that.
I doubt it, but okay.
No, just type it. I'm not in front of my computer. I'm just on my phone right quick.
That nigga over here making excuses for Harriet. Well, maybe she. Well, perhaps she. Well, I guess she knew how to maneuver, and the
Yeah,
mountain
it just
lion
keeps
wouldn't
popping
get
up.
her.
1938, 1936.
All right, type in
DC
the
Comics.
history. What about the history of superheroes? I'm pretty sure it's like in the 1800s.
Kill.
Yeah.
Harriet Tubman never got a tick or Lyme disease. She was just out in the wilderness. No roads, no toilet paper.
Listen, MoneyBoy Trey. I live in Cleveland Heights, Ohio. Cleveland Heights is it's a suburb of Cleveland, and the area that I live in is very wooded. Sir, I have encountered coyotes, which are smaller canines, of course. But hell, even I've encountered canines, and this is in the
Yo,
goddamn city.
it's not popping up.
Okay, well,
Hold on, maybe I'm gonna type in first superhero in the 1800s.
okay.
What if Harriet Tubman pop up?
Yeah, she will pop up eventually. Somebody said Google George Washington. He was the founder
He was the founder of what?
of Peanuts. But no, MoneyBoy Trey. Think about this, man, sir. Now you live in the South, right? So I'm pretty sure you've encountered wild animals. Think about
Yeah,
this. I've encountered wild animals, and I live in a goddamn city in the north.
that's what I'm telling dude. We got
Yo,
bears
nothing
and
popped up.
coyotes and all that shit down
I have to
here.
look it up.
Fox, possum, deer, snakes. Like this lady got away from moccasins, all types of owls and shit, hawks.
And it's not like she had a sleeping bag either. So if she's sleeping in the wilderness, it's like, okay, well, what if one night something crept up on her or something? Because there are animals that, I mean, of course, you don't have any man-eating animals, but there are animals that will creep up on you and shit and fuck you up.
She had her hiker's pet.
Jesus Christ.
She had a camo face paint.
Yeah, I can't find
Canteen.
it.
Yeah, well, okay, so I really believe this is just what I believe. I think that the story of Harriet Tubman is a fiction, just like Roots, just like Amistad. I think it's just a fiction. I think somehow it got
Like,
lost in.
what you and Kevin are saying, yo, like I'm not dismissing it. Like I'm
Mhm.
like, yo, word out.
Right.
But from my perspective,
Yeah.
on a logic standpoint, she had to do something for her name to be on the history books.
No, she
Like,
didn't. Fucking Columbus didn't do anything. His name is all in our history books. But I got you, Rush. She killed somebody for her boots, but she didn't kill someone for a horse.
Mm.
okay, Christopher Columbus did do something. He killed mad Indians. He had slaves. He
That's
sold
not what he's
slaves.
known for. He's known for
Yeah,
selling the ocean
but
blue and
but
selling
these are the
America.
things. These are the things that he did, and the image that people are painting about Christopher Columbus is like, yo, he's a remarkable dude that discovered these places which he never discovered because people was already living there, and he's just known as a uh renowned man. But niggas like me, I'm like, yo, nah, that nigga's a crooked ass nigga. He's a grimy dude.
Hercules is in the
But he
history
had
books.
to do something to land his name in the history books. You know
Do
what I
you know
mean?
who Hercules is? He's a
The
Greek god.
demigod,
He's in the history books.
the demigod. But that's mythological.
But some
That's
people
like,
believe, but at one point, people believed he was a real person, though. And
Saint Valentine.
certain parts of Europe, at one point, in particular, they believe that was
I
a.
mean, you guys do know what mythological means, right?
I know what mythological means, but what I'm telling you is that in certain parts of Europe, especially in the Mediterranean, they just like people believe that Jesus Christ is a actual person, and you and I both know nobody can walk on water.
Oh,
You
wait a
know,
minute, nah. We don't need to bring Jesus into this. You know what I
Harriet
mean? Let's
your
Tubman
leave him
can
out of
run
it.
zigzags
phone
and
is.
walk
Hold on,
on
what you say,
water.
bro?
We ain't got to bring him into this. But I mean, yeah, there's a lot of things we have to. There's a lot of things you guys are questioning. It's reasonable. Like, yo, damn, what did she do? You know, damn, how she survive in the wilderness? These are all good questions. You know what I mean? But I'm not gonna sit here and just discredit this lady of what
How
she did back
old
in the
was
day.
she?
What do you say,
Huh?
man? What do you say, buddy, Trey?
I said, how old was Harriet when she was doing all of this?
Yo, I have no idea.
Hey, Rush. All right. So here goes the thing. Like, of course, when you were talking, the goddamn phone was messing up, and I couldn't hear both of you. But uh, here goes the thing. Right. When I was younger, one day I got to a conversation with my dad about Michael Jordan. Right.
Uh huh.
And me and my dad were, and I was telling my dad, I was like, I bet you if society were to collapse, and like I'm talking about the collapse, like everything were collapse, and if if society were to not be rebuilt for 1,000 years, but people kept the story of Michael Jordan going along. Remember when we were kids in the news? Of course they were just saying it, but they were like God in disguise, and like they would like make up all like this. They were over exaggerate Michael Jordan's feats on the basketball court, right? I believe that if 1,000 years went by and society was to be rebuilt, but you kept hearing the story about Michael Jordan over and over, Michael Jordan will become a mythical god. Like he was a god back in the day, and then somebody from the past be like, no, he just played a sport, and we just said that shit because we applied God to with his feet on the court, and people would look at you like you're crazy. I honestly think that's what happened with Harriet Tubman. I think that maybe she was like a black woman on a plantation who may have fought back with the master one time, and they made a story behind that one time she fought back or something.
She was made up, bro, to make the black woman look like she was greater than the black man, just like
Then that's what
they
I've
made
always said.
Rosa Parks the
Okay, now,
face
now
of the
see now
damn
now we're
civil
getting
rights
somewhere.
movement.
Now we're getting somewhere.
But Rush, I
Now
already said that.
They
no,
made
but
her up.
the way he's saying it is just it's direct to the point. There's no semantics with it. It is what it is. He's calling a spade a spade.
But I had
Now
said that
my
at first. I
question
said
is,
that.
hold on, let me ask.
Mhm.
My question is, like, why do you believe that, and how does that?
That's the only thing I could think of because it just makes it seem like the men were pussy. It took a fat black woman to free niggas, and no man did that other than Nat Turner. And then they tried to make it seem like Frederick Douglass was just an old soft ass nigga.
Yeah.
What about Tucson? We can't forget about Tucson.
But
He did
sir,
his
that was
thing too.
but that was Haiti though, and Haiti has it's a
A
different
slave, a slave is a slave, my
a slave
nigga,
is
and
a
he
We're
did his
talking
thing.
American history, sir.
but that was Haiti. Haiti's a small island. It's a different story altogether. I mean, that's hell. The Haitians can have that story, and that could be like a story that's passed on orally just by the Haitians themselves. They can know about that through their own oral history. It's just that the story of Harriet Tubman. I don't think that kids in the 40s were being taught about Harriet Tubman. I think that was some shit they taught like in the 70s and 80s for like for like Black Power or some shit that they created.
I mean, maybe it's
The
possible.
urban legend.
Wow, I can't believe I'm having a conversation with two black dudes saying that Harriet Tubman is an urban myth. It's an urban
Because
myth.
because because in our
Red pill,
culture,
motherfucker.
I think because
Yo, Money Boy Trey crazy, man.
Because, like I said, in our culture, we can't question anything. Everything has to just be what it is. And there are blacks like me and you too, for example, Russ. You're very smart. And MoneyBoy Trey certainly. It's like we think outside the box. A lot of that shit could just be fake shit to trick you and shit. And like you say, I've always thought that it's like, why does the black fat short woman? Why is she the savior of our of African Americans? Like, get the fuck out of here
In a dress.
in a dress. And she has a fucking Elmer Fudd musket. Get the fuck out of here. What the
And
fuck would
just
she do if a fucking mountain lion were to attack her ass?
and
Use
just
that.
think, because you can't reload back in those days. But just think about it. If when we think about the slavery heroes, we think about her, Frederick Douglass, and Nat Turner. But who do we praise the most?
Harriet Tubman.
When we think about the civil rights movement, Martin Luther King did a whole bunch of shit, but the female gets the credit for what happened in Montgomery.
That's true. I can't even front on that. Yeah, I mean,
And then
maybe.
I'll tell you something else about the whole Rosa Parks thing. Men were working. I mean, men have always worked labor jobs. Even the men. I mean, even black men. You mean to tell me no black man back then said, "Nigga, I ain't about to give up my motherfucking seat to you. I just got a hard day off of work, nigga." And this bitch was a secretary. Come on, man. Get the. Even when I was a kid, I'm like, wait a minute, that don't make any sense either. This bitch is secretary. What's she tired for? And then a man who's working a laborious job, he ain't never said nothing. Stop it. This is bullshit.
His
I
wife
bet you.
talking shit to him.
Yeah, I bet you was black men doing that shit in the 30s, in the 20s probably. I ain't about to give my motherfucking seat, nigga. I just got fucking work and get the whooping on a white boy ass or some shit like that in a suit.
Yeah, man. I mean, this is something to think about.
I mean, dude, it is because like look at Black Lives Matter, right? Look how they've promoted. Look how the media has promoted Black Lives Matter. But when's the last time you ever heard about the Nation of Islam? Because the Nation of Islam is a patriarchal organization. They don't like that shit.
Right,
How come you
right,
never heard about Elijah Muhammad in the school books? Because they don't want to teach that shit.
right,
But they,
Well,
right.
they can't do Elijah Muhammad because it's a separation of church and state. So yeah.
I
But
mean,
all the other points you were good on, but yeah, they don't.
but then again, Martin Luther King. I mean, what was he though? He was a known Baptist preacher,
But
and it
they,
was
but when we talked about him in school, they left that part out. They kind of skimmed through that he was a pastor.
okay. Yeah, because Elijah Muhammad himself was the leader of a actual religious organization. So I can see where you're coming from with that one. Yeah. But yeah, Rush, man, you just gotta, the next time, Rush, man, like I don't know if you go to the barber.
yeah, I'm not gonna bring this up in the barbershop, nigga. You crazy?
Yeah, and
You
especially where you from,
scared?
the East Coast, shit.
No, no, no.
Why you
I'm not
scared,
scared.
Russ?
I'm not scared. Nah, nah. I'm not scared. It's just that I don't like wasting energy. Like I know if I okay, I can have this conversation with you two guys because you guys are not.
We're
I
smart.
don't want to say brainwashed, but you guys don't go the traditional route of things. And I'm kind of the same way too. Like I'm kind of like yo, nah. Like I don't agree with everything what the social structure is designed for us to do. Like there's gonna be a lot of things I'm gonna go against the grain with. You know what I mean? And this is why I can have this conversation with you guys because I'm kind of like the same way, but I can't have this conversation with a bunch of dudes that's already their minds made up of believing in something.
But
Genesis 1
Because
here's
says, no self-respecting black person supports Black Lives Matter. You're goddamn right, because I don't support that shit.
I don't support that shit either. You know what I mean?
Rush.
But I
Here's a
can't. I
challenge.
can't.
Here's a challenge slash social experiment, Rush. Because when we hit you with these tidbits of information, you saw how you reacted. Just go in there and bring it up and record how these niggas react. You would think that they
Man,
talking.
niggas get emotional, dog.
Record it
Like
and be
I don't
like,
want to
I
whoop a
didn't know
nigga
these
ass
niggas.
with some over Harriet Tubman.
No, hey, Rush, this is what you do. You go into the barbershop and you say, hey, listen, man, I know this crazy black dude from Ohio. This nigga said that Rosa Parks didn't exist. And you show them, like, the channel, and you show
Play the
you
video.
Yeah, play the video of you, and because you've been in defense of Rosa Parks the entire time, like you've been holding your swear about it, like you haven't even buzzed once. And then like maybe that'll attract more people to come to the channel so they can start arguing with me too.
And record their reactions like this nigga is ill, B. This nigga crazy. How dare he? We pulling up. Where he staying in Cleveland?
Yeah.
How dare he talk about this fat black queen that's dead?
Oh, yo, it's funny, man. I'm going to get my haircut tomorrow.
You should do it, man. I'm telling you, man, because like I said, like that will bring a lot of attention, man. Because remember, man, like they're not in there thinking about that type of shit. But it's gonna blow their mind away when even you say, "Hey, man, this nigga said that Harriet Tubman was freeing slaves with a musket. She was going around killing mountain lions with a musket." Like,
Dread. Like, when the fuck did she change clothes?
hey, Russ, let me ask you a question real quick.
Yeah.
And I'm not trolling. I'm not. I swear to God, I'm not trolling. I'm gonna ask you this: what was Harriet's 40?
What was what?
What was Harriet Tubman's 40?
What you mean?
What was
4.6 in boots.
if she did a 40-yard dash? What would be her?
Oh, yo, you trolling, nigga. You trolling.
I'm not. There's a reason why I'm asking. What if okay? You being okay? Obviously, you play some sort of sport in high school, right? Probably football, right?
Right.
Okay. I'm asking.
No, I never played sports. You know what I mean? Like I always did my own thing. But
okay,
yeah, but go ahead.
I'm not trolling. I'm not trolling, sir. I'm legitimately asking. Okay, MoneyBoy, let me ask you first. What do you think her 40 was, sir?
4.6 in boots.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right. Yo, you guys are trolling hard, man.
Her 40. Okay, let's be real. Her 40.
And if she's zigzagging 4.3.
Her 40.
Oh, y'all trolling me now? Oh, hell nah.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Harriet Tubman's 40 probably was like a 7'1". Like I really believe she was a slow, fat black woman. I don't think she could run. No, maybe not a 7'1". Maybe a 6'1", 6'2". There is no way in hell that this woman existed if you really sit back and think about those semantics. Like even like in athleticism, like how could she run from a predator animal? There is no way in hell she would have gotten killed. No fucking way.
These are all reasonable questions, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like for real, you know? Like, damn. Maybe she never did exist, you know what I mean?
I don't think
Maybe
so,
this
bro.
is the fluke, you know what I mean? Yo, this is something really to think about, man. You know what I mean? But
Where
with
did
my
she
logic,
get firearms training from?
with my with my logic of thinking, man, like she had to do something in order for her to make it in the history books. And I know you guys gonna be like, nah, it's just made up, but that's just my way of just figuring out.
Dude, you know what's gonna happen, Rush? In 50 years, we'd probably be old men at the time if we don't pass away. But in 50 years, I bet you there's gonna be some sort of a transsexual that they're gonna like right. I mean, there's a tranny right now that exists right now, or that will be born that they're gonna make a heroic figure 50 years from now. They're gonna be all in the history books. Like they did this, that, and I'm telling you, they're gonna make a heroic figure out of somebody 50 years from now. It's gonna be a transsexual.
I mean, yeah, I mean anything's possible, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I'm telling you, man, like people, like the media, there's always an agenda, man. There's always some sort of Illuminati. There's a reason why Harriet Tubman is taught in history. There's a reason why white kids learn about Harriet Tubman in all white schools. Cause I'm like, why the fuck do white kids learn about this bitch, but they don't learn about Elijah Muhammad? But again, it goes back to because the thing is that the story is so it's pushed as fact, but it's really unbelievable in your subconscious. That's why like it's a safe thing to talk about. Because imagine if they would have told you if the history books taught you about like slave revolts and all that shit, they wouldn't even want white kids to know about that. They'd be like, God damn. They wouldn't want. Think about this, Russ. How come you never taught about slave revolts in grade school?
Man, I mean that's a good question.
You're never taught about it. You're never taught about who led them. because white people don't want you to know that kind of history. Because slave revolts really happened before. You're talking about slaves used to literally revolt and kill the entire fucking family sometimes.
Rush Candyman and Bloody Mary are going down in history. Neither one of those existed. Say you ain't never went in the bathroom and said Bloody Mary, and this bitch ain't never existed.
Yep, I did it. I do it when I'm on mushrooms because it's even more scarier.
They just be sitting there and don't shit happen.
Yeah, Rush. Tomorrow when you get your haircut, bro, like bring this up. Like, hey guys, like this is crazy,
I mean,
dude.
I will, but like I don't know, man. I'll see, man.
Rush believe us now, so he don't want to bring it up. He
He
gonna
was,
sound like us when they start saying their dumb shit. He gonna be like, "Hold up, you niggas sound like some Harriet Tubman apologists."
yeah, Rush is because Rush is like, yeah, man, like that dude kind of makes sense about the fucking boots and the dress and the musket out. Because like I'm telling you, man, like people don't think about that type of shit. It ain't like the bitch had a goddamn AR-15 or some shit. Like this bitch,
She had to stuff her musket with gunpowder and a bullet, and
you
then she
said
had to
and a bullet.
reload and a bullet. Yeah, back in the day, like even on the battlefield, they had to pack their weapon and shit.
Mm-hmm.
How was she gonna reload?
Bro, here goes my thing, bro. Like and again, I think it's always good to question just everything, man. Like everything, like even like things that, like, dude, like, all right. So for example, man, like our son, our star, right? There was
Right.
when I was teaching at this charter school, there was this little girl, man. I'll never forget her, man. She was very fucking intelligent. Like she was like a genius, like on some real shit. She said, "Mr. K, what if?"
How old was she?
She was about 12 or 13. She was a beautiful girl, man. She was like, her brain was just beautiful, man. Like the way she thought. I hate to say it too, but she was mixed, so it's probably her white brain that was the smart part.
Yo, man, let's not start this shit, man.
No,
Go ahead.
no, but she was like, Mr. K, what if the sun was like a vortex to like another universe or like another. I was like, God damn, I never thought about no shit like that. And she was like, yeah, what if like people who are really smart know that and like they just tell you that it's a sun so you won't ever travel in it. And I'm like, I never thought about that. But of course,
A 12-year-old told you this?
yeah, but of course, it's her mind is just wondering, but it's just the beauty of of a mind that's able just to think. Like she doesn't necessarily believe it's a portal, but she's saying, "What if it is a portal?" Something that I'd never even thought of. I'm like, God damn, that does kind of make sense. What if it is like a fucking vortex or portal, and we just call it a sun because we don't understand what the fuck it is?
The spirit of Harriet Tubman is in that child.
Yo.
Yeah, but I never believed that story of Harriet Tubman, man. I never did. Well, one of the things, the reason why I never believed it was because of the animals. It's too many fucking wild animals back then that just got to me. And Russ, like I said before, man, like I don't live in like the as a urbanly dense neighborhood as you do, because I'm assuming you've
Mhm.
never really seen like wild animals, right? Like a coyote, right?
I mean, I've seen wild animals, man, but not like no bears or some
Of
shit like
course,
that.
not a bear, but you never seen like a coyote, right?
I've seen coyotes, I've seen
Okay,
foxes, I've seen
okay,
deers. I
okay.
mean,
So
because I've been to Alabama. I mean, and my uncle he got
I'm
a
talking about in
spot.
Boston, though.
Nah,
Snakes
but you're not
are
gonna see that shit in
terrible.
Boston.
Okay,
Yeah,
We
so
you're not
have
gonna see that shit in
snakes in the
Boston.
park in Memphis. Horrible snakes.
Rush, where I live at, you see, like, I live in Cleveland Heights, which is, still urban, but where I live at is real, it's a lot of woods and shit, trees. Dude, I've seen everything but bears and wolves. I think it was one wolf that was in the city, and I think they killed it or whatever. But other than that, I don't think they killed it. I think they the animal rangers or whatever came and got it or whatever. Because you can't have a fucking wolf in the city. But the thing is that think about almost 200 years ago, man. It had to be all types of fucking wild ass animals just roaming around, killing each other and shit. And then this fat black woman who's cooking food. Think about if she's cooking food, right? think about all the animals that would be attracted to that food,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
smell of the food. I'm like, it's
yeah.
no fucking way.
But how would she light a fire? She traveling. She on the road.
She used a Bic lighter.
She really couldn't light a fire at night because that would attract the slave catchers.
I didn't even think about that.
Yo, me either. Yo, I mean, clearly she had to have some help, man. Somebody had to help her. Or maybe this
Harriet
shit is just
Tubman
made
is
up. Maybe it's just made up.
Harriet Tubman is really the Black Widow, dude. This bitch is amazing.
Yo, I'm on a show trolling Harriet Tubman, yo. That shit is crazy.
I have another question too, though. If Harriet Tubman was real and she somehow got on the plantation and even went to the slave quarters, how does she convince niggas who were getting fed every day, who had 3 hots in a cot? How does she convince them to say, "Hey, listen, we're gonna have to take this 3-4 month walk through 4 different states. It's gonna be hard. As animals are." I'm thinking like, because niggas don't like, niggas are very, one thing about I can tell you about niggas are very
Yo,
comfortable
yo,
people.
you right. You right.
Like, how does she convince other women? How does she convince them to take their kid? Like, how does she convince that? Like, to me, it just sounds remarkable. Like, think about this: you're in a slave quarter, and some bitch comes knocking on the window, like, "Hey, I'm from, whatever state or whatever she was from," and she's, "I'm coming to get y'all," and she's and somehow they let her in, and she's convincing them, like, "Hey, listen, it's gonna take us about it's gonna be a 4 or 5 month walk. They're wild animals. Some of us might die." They're like, "Fuck that shit." And
It's
then they're
hot
walking,
down south.
and then they're down south. It's like you gotta walk through the cold up north. I just don't see that shit happening, man.
And everybody survived and made it.
This makes me want to read more about her. I think I'm gonna read what exactly happened with Harriet and her
Halfway
mission of
halfway
freezing
down the
slaves.
page. Oh, go ahead.
No, that's all I wanted to say.
You
It's
said
gonna say
halfway down the
halfway
page.
down the page is gonna say fill in information on your own.
Don Philly said something very important. He said they have pictures on her. And I want to tell Don Philly, they also have videos of the man walking the moon, and we know that shit didn't happen. I saw a video of Larry Johnson. I mean, not Larry Johnson. What was his name? Lyndon B. Johnson. He now Rush and MoneyBoy Trey. Check this shit out. Lyndon B. Johnson took over the presidency after Kennedy was assassinated, and he remained the president up until like the 70s or 1970, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was a video of him, and I shit you not, this motherfucker had a rotary phone, and he called one of the astronauts from the rotary phone, and the motherfucking astronaut was on the moon. I said, that's how, like think about how crazy that stupid shit is. Like,
Cellular device. the shadow had a cell phone.
and it is like, yeah, like it's like, yeah, you have pictures and everything, but a lot of things are bullshit and they're made up and they're manufactured. Lyndon B. Johnson didn't call no goddamn astronauts for no goddamn landline phone in the fucking White House. That's bullshit.
Yo, that shit do sounds far fetched, yo. That shit sound crazy.
This motherfucker, he died. Like, I'm talking about the rotary phones where you dialing it with your fingers around. Like, I was like, get the fuck out of here.
What did the astronaut phone look like?
What? I don't know.
Was it a walkie-talkie?
I don't know, man.
He had a Sprint.
Yeah, that shit is crazy.
Yeah, like even when I was a kid, I used to question them. Like, dude, when I was a kid, I had to be like in the second or third grade, and I had like all white teachers in grade school, except for my fifth grade teacher, Miss Corley. She was a black bitch, and she was mean as shit.
Yo, that's crazy.
But I questioned the moon landing. The white teacher looked at me like, "This nigger's pretty smart." I remember how she looked at me. Her name was
Yo,
Miss.
but if all that's fake, right? What's the purpose of having NASA around?
attack schemes, all types of things. To
Mm.
it could be
Money
it could be
laundering.
a multiplicity of reasons why they're trying to trick you into believing that they went to the moon. I mean, I don't know. That theory, I don't know. What about you, Money Witcher? Why do you think they're trying to trick us into believing that?
Money laundering.
Money laundering, yeah, I've always thought it was like a tax scheme, but also it was a race to show who had superior power in the skies. So so it was a cold war between Russia and America, and basically it's basically saying, all right, well, if we can get to the moon, that means that we control the high ground now. But I don't know, man.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes
But
sense.
I think they faked the moon landing. I really do, and we haven't been back in 60 fucking years. Get the fuck out of here. That shit is fake. Shit didn't happen.
Yo, that's crazy. for somebody to
Red pill, bitch.
for somebody to believe like somebody been on the moon and you hit a certain age and you realize like that shit ain't real. You know what I mean? That shit will probably fucking nigga head up, man.
Shit is fake, man. And
Harriet
like I said,
Tubman has some
and
Goku
like
boots.
yeah, and like I said, when people say shit like they did this and that, I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Like they didn't do none of that shit, man.
Yo.
And like
and,
and like you say, and then they put it in plain sight. Like nobody, I bet you never even thought of the fact that Harriet Tubman is wearing a fucking mini skirt with a shotgun. I'm like,
and
Well, it's
she
not a
fat.
mini skirt.
I
The
know it's
dress
not a
is
mini.
pretty.
I know it's not a mini skirt, but it's
Yeah.
just she may as well should have had a mini skirt on. It don't matter.
Yo,
And
you
she fat. She walked for months and she was fat.
I mean, yo, man, this trolling is getting out of hand, man.
It's not
It's
trolling.
true.
It's real shit, man. Like black people, man. We're really susceptible to believing anything, man. And I really believe that shit. Like
Yo,
something.
and I hate to admit it, but
Mhm.
yeah, yeah,
And Russ, here's the kicker. So she frees these slaves. She takes them off the plantation. The plantation owner just doesn't send any dog. He don't send anybody after them. The slave catchers, the bloodhounds, none of that. He just let them go.
yeah. They did have bloodhounds too.
They
It's
slave
yo,
catchers. That was their job, and they caught most of the slaves at night because it was hard for them to travel.
yeah. I mean, that's another thing to factor in too.
It's a hoax, bro. It's all fake news. Trump been trying to tell you, son. Fake news, everything.
Hey, Russ. I listen. When I was in college, man, I used to write papers on even the extremities of Good Night Genesis 1. I used to write papers even on the extremities of slavery. I said that a lot of shit that we're taught about slavery could not have happened. Like when they say like they had to break the slaves and this and that. I was like, get the fuck out of here, dude. If you want people to work for you, how can you torture somebody and then everybody's like, oh shit, we got like nigga, I'll be like, yeah, get the fuck out of here.
That's
What?
more reason to run.
It's more reason to get the fuck out of there. And so my thing is that imagine if you're at McDonald's, which is a shit job, right? Imagine you're at McDonald's and the fucking manager or even the owner comes in there and tortures one of your coworkers. Nigga, I'm trying my best to get the fuck out of there. I'm like, I ain't about to work here. I ain't fuck that. Nigga, he chops off one of their hands and shit. You be like, what?
As soon as this nigga turn his back, I'm out.
I'm out. You mean to tell me and they make it seem like slavery was this, but I'm like, no, man. If slavery happened, it probably was like, listen, you got free meals, you got a place to stay. I'm just gonna, you got to work from a certain time. I think that's what slavery really was. There was no way there, and then you got to think there was no wage, there was no minimum wage, like federal minimum wages, so they could pay you pretty much nothing. And then you ever heard about people buying themselves out of slavery, Rush? Before, did you ever heard shit like that in the history
Yeah,
books?
yeah, I've heard of that.
How did they
I've heard
buy
of that.
themselves out of slavery? That obviously means that they were making money in slavery. That's what it means.
They had to work a certain, or they had to work 40 years to get free.
Yeah. So a lot of things, like I said, a lot of things that I read. I'm like, wait a minute, how did he buy himself out of slavery then? If he was a slave, that means that the fucking slave master was giving him money. Like it may have been like a penny, but he saved all that shit or something.
Yeah, but I think that's like equivalent to niggas in prison making money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean,
Like,
obviously, yeah, because there was no regulation. I mean, dude, think about this. The only reason why your job pays you what they want is because there's federal laws that say you have to pay workers a certain amount of money if they work for you, and then the states have their own. Like, there's a federal minimum wage, and then there's a state minimum wage, depending on which state you live in. So obviously, a
right.
state like California, which you earn more there, the minimum wage is like 11 or 12. I think it's like 14, $15. But like a
Yeah,
shitty
I
state
think
like
$15. Yeah,
yeah, but a shitty state like Ohio, it's $8
like
an hour.
$7 an hour, some shit like that.
I think it's 8.85 or some shit like that. But the thing of the matter is that there was no state minimum wages back then. So a fucking person who owns a listen, you can't tell me that people back then were stupid enough to work for free. And Kanye West is right. You accepted that shit. So I believe that there were plantation owners who were like, all
Well,
right,
wait a minute. Wait a minute now. Let's not bring Kanye into this. And
what do you mean?
nah, like from his statement of the whole like slavery was our fault. You know, like I
He didn't
strongly
say our
disagree
fault.
with
He
that.
said it was a choice.
Was is saying that it's your fault, but that's how I'm taking it. But no, it wasn't our choice. You know what I mean?
Yes, it
The
Rush.
people.
was.
Rush. If Harriet Tubman fat ass could get free and come back and get other people, it was a fucking choice.
You
Hey,
gotta
mic
understand.
drop.
You gotta
Uh-oh,
understand.
here comes the apology.
You gotta understand. You gotta understand. When the Africans were selling their prisoners,
How do you know that?
you should you
How do
should
you know the
know
Africans were
this.
selling the prisoners?
That's where slavery was invented in Africa. What are
Slavery
you
was,
talking about?
sir. They've
You
had
guys
slavery.
invented this shit.
Dude, slavery existed in every culture, thousands of years ago. Slavery wasn't invented in Africa.
Well, you guys sold off your prisoners. And when they sold off the prisoners, we didn't have no choice
But but
but
but,
to go with them because we
but
was
Who
Rush,
sold
imprisoned by
off
the Africans.
prisoners?
Huh?
Who sold? Who sold us?
The people in the native land of West Africa,
The
they sold
Canes.
us off
The
to the white
Canes?
man. Huh?
You talking about the kings and queens of Africa?
I was I'm talking about the African natives from West Africa.
The
They sold
kings
off
and
their
queens
slaves.
that we
They
say
sold
that
off their prisoners to the white man. Like
you
we don't need to have a
ducking it,
history
Russ.
lesson,
Russ,
man.
you're ducking it. We say we were kings and queens. Are these kings and queens the ones who sold their prisoners into slavery?
Huh? Like I said, man, you guys sold your prisoners to the white man, and we got shipped off over here, man. You know what I mean? So slavery was not our choice.
but
It's
see,
just
Rush,
something that
but
just
but
happened.
but see, Rush. My thing is that again, I'm not denying it or I'm not confirming it. But I listen. I've even asked questions about that. I was like, if the white man really had all this technological advancement, like if he had ships that were capable of traveling over the Atlantic, if he had all these weapons, why would he even bother to even purchase slaves from the Africans? He could have just took whoever the fuck he wanted to have taken if he really wanted to. I honestly believe now, Rush. Now this is what I wrote in the paper one time that almost got me fucking fucked up at Kent State. I wrote a paper and I said a lot of the slaves willingly got on the ships because they believed that the new world would have offered them better job opportunities. I wrote that. They were like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" I'm like, "Nigga, they didn't like they probably listen. Think about currently right now, right? A lot of people come to the Americas because it's better opportunities here. What if people back then in 14, 15, 1600s wanted the same opportunities? They were telling these people that's a new land out here It's a way for you to get wealthy.
Nah, that's not how. First of all,
But how do you know that? There were no
the
cameras back then.
prisoners. Okay,
Russ, you gotta
phenotypically, the
understand
prisoners.
that
Let
could have
me
happened.
say this. Phenotypically, the prisoners look similar to the African natives, but they weren't Africans.
What are you
You know what I
talking
mean?
about?
That's why they were prisoners.
What do you, what? Rush, the
The
Africans
people, the
conquered
people.
other.
Hold on, wait a minute. The people that the Africans imprisoned that phenotypically looked like them weren't African natives.
Where were they from?
What are they?
Where were they from? The Mars?
They were from Dubai.
Yo,
They were from
I'm surprised.
Dubai.
I'm surprised
Rush,
you don't
Rush. Where were they? Rush. Where were they from?
different.
Ethiopia.
Some from Greece, some from Egypt,
Oh God.
all over the place, man.
Rush,
You know what I mean?
They were conquered
brother.
by Egypt and Greece. So how in the
Rush,
fuck?
brother. Hold on for a second. Rush, hold on for a second. I'm not saying that I'm an expert on African studies. I have a degree in it. But Rush, do you realize how enormous Africa is?
Yeah, it's big. Yeah.
How are there Egyptians in Ghana? Well, at the time it wasn't called
No,
Ghana.
well, let me.
How are there
Damn, man.
Egyptians
It's like
in Ghana?
Kev, you
it's
gotta
like every time we
understand.
talk about this, I gotta explain this all over again.
Okay, go ahead, bro.
Listen, back then. All right, I know you're not religious, but these are the timelines that I know of.
Okay.
When the Assyrians took over King Solomon land,
Okay.
there was the Northern Kingdom, which was the indigenous people, and the Southern Kingdom. The
Okay.
Southern Kingdom had the tribe of Levi and the tribe of Judah. When they came through and took over, they all had to flee out. Some went to Greece, some went to parts of Africa, some they just fleed out. That's why they say the real Hebrews never had a place. They never had their own land because they was chased out by their land when King Solomon Kingdom got taken over by the Assyrians. So through times and generations that go over, they ended up in West Africa and they was kept as prisoners and enslaved. And they sold them off to the white man, and we ended up here.
The Bible fake too, bro. So all them characters you just named are like Harriet Tubman to me. They don't exist.
I mean, that's you know what I mean? But
So I can't take that as historical reference.
Well. There's a lot of now. Rush.
so
There
so
is a
so
lot
you
of
mean to
truth
tell
to
me
what.
this? No, hold on, wait a minute. So you should know this, Kevin, because you
Yeah.
know you're from you know about Africa because you're African.
Right.
Like so there's no parts in West Africa where there's a spot where they sold off the slaves. They shipped them off to go to the new world.
It
Well, okay.
happened all
I
over
want to.
Africa.
answer that question, but I want to broach something else that you were talking about when you were talking about ancient times and how Africans migrated to certain parts. So there is a lot of truth in that because if you look at the Dogon, right? So the
Mhm.
Dogon are in Mali, which is it's not Egypt, and it's more on the west coast of Africa. The Dogon are believed to be Africans that were expelled, or Egyptians that were actually expelled out of Egypt. That's why they had knowledge of Sirius A and Sirius B. They don't know how they. It's a lot of theories. Like maybe they were expelled out of Egypt. Maybe they left Egypt. They don't know. But you are right. A lot of Africans from different parts came from Egypt. They migrated thousands of years ago. So you are right about that. Now, the thing about the slave ports. Now, hear me out for a minute, Rush. Now, could it be that when we think of the slave ports, could it be that those were like administrative offices to say, like how Ellis Island was? Could those slave ports really be sort of like the same thing? Like, okay, guys, we're gonna come in here, we're gonna process you, and you're gonna get on these ships and go to the new world. Could it? I think that's what those places really were. I don't think they were slave
I
markets.
mean that could be that's debatable between me and you, but I'm
Oh,
not
Rush,
like
whatever you do, by the way, never tell anybody what I said about that. People will hunt me down for that one. So that's something I don't tell people either. People.
right. I mean, of course not. I mean, but
People.
Yo, man.
Nigga, those
I
are
mean,
slave dungeons. Sir, I don't think those were slave dungeons. I think there was like an administrative office. Go ahead.
right. See, that's where me and you are not gonna come to an agreement.
But
Of
see,
course.
Russ,
You
that's
know what I
not
mean?
fair. That's not fair because every time we say something to you and you respond, you say you gotta understand, but you never understand any of the shit we say, and you just automatically say, "I'm gonna disagree with you." I draw the line
Nah,
there.
nah, come on, man.
You
Like
gotta understand, Russ. Those could have been
yo,
administrative
we're
officers.
actually having a discussion about this,
That could
even
have been
though you don't,
processing and
even
booking
though
and immigration.
even, even though you don't agree what I'm saying, and I definitely don't agree what Kevin is saying, but we're still having a discussion about it. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. But again, all I'm saying is that there were no cameras back then. There were no video recordings. We really don't know. Like we don't really know what the pyramids are. And that's a tragedy of history with not having recorded data. And the beauty of now is that we can record shit and all this, but you got to think, man, a lot of shit that we were taught is up for interpretation. Like almost everything that predates modern, like I would say even the 1900s. Like we don't even really know.
I mean,
We don't really even know if George Washington really existed on some real shit. That could all be made up shit too. No nobody
right.
around. No fucking body around in the 1700s that can tell you that shit right now. Who the fuck
Like,
knows?
yo, one thing I do agree with you, and I admire and respect about you is like, yo, you're not gonna take a word from it. You're gonna do your research and really try to dig for the real truth, and I respect that. You know what I
Right.
mean? That I respect a lot. But yeah, man. I mean, this is definitely a dope discussion, dope subject matter. You know what I mean? And like I definitely understand where you're coming from. There is a lot of things we do need to question, and we have to figure out for ourselves. We can't just get everything spoon fed to us. You know what I mean?
I agree. But listen, man, if I were to ever go into a barbershop, one thing I would never do is say that those slave ports were administrative offices. I would never.
Yo, I mean, yo,
That's
you
one thing.
kind of reaching with that, man. You're definitely reaching with that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But
Say it in supercuts. You can get away with it in supercuts.
Yeah, supercuts, yeah. They'd be like, yes, I've always said that too, but I don't want to say it around black people. They'd kill me. Yeah.
oh man, y'all
It
niggas,
was
man.
immigration, bro. It was border control. Shit, that's all it was. It was border control for people coming in and out.
That's what
Yo,
I think.
this, this is definitely an interesting conversation that we're having, man.
Yeah, I
Straight
What if it
up.
mean,
was
and
their loading docks for products?
that's what I think it was. I don't think that I like white people right now seem kind of like soft to me. And I'm like, man, I don't think that they were like in the movies they're portrayed as these marauders that just came in and this was just I'm like, what the fuck? Hell no. I think what it was is like they were creating a new world. Like they were trying to create a new world and they were going from place to place. They needed people to build the world up and they, you know, and like I said, there was no fucking minimum wage or anything like that. So yeah, the fucking slave plantation. Like, dude, think about your jobs right now. Think about how horrendous jobs are right now with micromanagement and this and that. I mean, think about 300 years ago. It probably was more brutal. They
Kev,
didn't
this
have I mean, dude, think about this. Up until like the 1900s, there were children were working in factories from 15, 16 hours a day. They had to make child labor laws. And these are white fucking kids. Did you know that, Rush?
Yeah, I knew that.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, dude, and they have quote unquote pictures, and I see kids with bare foots working in fucking on machines that look like they could chop them in half if they did the wrong thing. Like the machines look fucking, it looked unsafe and shit.
this just popped in my head. So, are we to believe that all these African slaves just by the millions abandoned their African names to their offspring and just started picking random American names? So they beat everybody like they did Kunta Kinte to make them change their names.
That's something else I've always thought about too, man. And like I said, that kind of goes to my theory as to
I
why those
mean,
slave
yo, with the
ports.
plant, like from my understanding, like with the plant, whoever was the owner of the, I hate fucking using this, but whoever was the owner of the plantation, the slaves would take up that their master's last name. You know what I
What
mean?
about the first name? Harriet Tubman is awfully white. Harriet Tubman's mom named her Harriet, and the dad
I
too.
mean,
And she black as hell, so she wasn't raped.
I mean, this yo man, I don't know, I don't know what's considered a black name, but
The only
Harriet
black
Tubman.
Harriet you know is Harriet Winslow, nigga.
But tell me this: why did Muhammad Ali change his name to Muhammad Ali? His original name was Cassius Clay.
Because
Frederick
he had embraced
Douglass.
Islam under the Nation of Islam under Elijah Muhammad.
That, and he didn't want to keep his slave master's last name.
That nigga didn't come from no fucking slavery.
Yeah, he really did.
I know he didn't, but that was his reason for it. You know what I mean?
Oh, I go okay. I can go with that. So, but I'm still saying, even back then, all these where did they just got all these random ass American names from where though? Because we know of a Nat Turner, we know of a Frederick Douglass, and we know of a Harriet Tubman. Where did they get all these white ass American names from? Is what I'm asking you. They didn't know American names. All they knew were African names. So you saying the slave master named every kid, whether it was one of their babies or not?
Well,
First and last name.
you gotta understand when this is just in general. Whenever a kingdom takes over a certain land, they follow that dominant ethnic group, religion, and language.
Where did
So
they learn? They did not. They couldn't read. Remember? Come on now, keep the narrative. They weren't allowed to read, and
man, I
unless
mean,
they were teaching them Rosetta Stone, had they learned
you
the
guys,
fucking language?
this is kind of unreasonable, but let
It's
me entertain you. But I don't know. I don't know, man. Maybe I don't know, man.
you gotta
This is just
understand, Russ. It don't make sense, and we don't even know any other slave names other than those three. Name somebody else that we can go off of that was in slavery that had a Americanized white person name.
yeah. I can't think of anybody else either. But you know, I mean, yo, man, I ain't create history, man. This is what history is. This is what we're told. You know what I mean? And it's our responsibility, I guess, just to find the truth. You know what I mean?
It wasn't no fucking Jamals in slavery. No damn Jameses. These niggas had strong warrior names, and they got over here, and all of a sudden they're Timothy and Nathaniel and Frederick. Come on, man. Those type names weren't even in the Bible. Well, I'll even give them a stretch and say, hey, y'all name your kids after Bible characters. There were no Gideons and no Samuels and no
What if the
Solomons.
Britt says, "What if the original slaves were criminal prisoners sold to work off their debt to society?" No, Britt. Every African was a beautiful, pure soul in Africa, like we're taught in the history books. All of them were perfect, and there was nothing criminal about that society.
You
No, but
gotta understand, they
that's a
were
good question.
peaceful people.
That's a good question too. I mean, maybe they were political. Maybe they were criminals, and because, like I said, I couldn't fathom being in a
They
village.
weren't criminals, man. They were people
You
that didn't
don't
have
know.
land.
Listen, Russ. Is it hard to believe, Russ? Is it unreasonable to believe that maybe either the slave ports were really administrative offices that were sort of like similar to what Ellis Island is, and it was processing, or what we see as the quote unquote dungeons were for people who were political prisoners. I mean, not political, but who were actual criminals within their society. Is it hard to
Bro,
believe that? I mean, dude, think about this. If I had a land, I don't care how much of a ruthless person that I was, now this is just me talking. I could not fathom just selling people who are peaceful citizens away to other groups of people, especially people who don't look like me. I couldn't fathom doing
You
that. Now,
would. They did. Come on. Like I told you, phenotypically, the prisoners look similar to the native of the land, but they weren't their people. That's why they sold them
but
off.
how did they know that? Okay, so okay, let's use the example of me and you. We both know this. There was a lot of there was a lot of migration from Egypt to other parts of Africa. Okay, we know that.
Right.
But that was thousands of years ago. My thing is that how would somebody know that somebody came from Egypt 1,000 years ago? How would I know that your bloodline came from Egypt 1,000 years ago if you look like me?
Because off rip, they had no, like, okay, if there's a group of settled, okay, how can I, all right, just like us, for example, right?
Okay.
African Americans, right?
So,
We never had any land. So off rip, we're from, we're not the native of this, we're not considered the native of this land, but our origin derives from Africa.
okay.
Same thing with the people that, same thing with the prisoners that was imprisoned by the native land of West Africa. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And you got to understand, there was ancient tribal wars, which still goes on till this day between the Africans. So,
Okay.
yo, you know what I mean? Like, this is not something that's far fetched. This is reasonable.
You gotta
If I
understand
have
this.
a
This
hold on, if I have a
bullshit.
set of if there's a set of prisoners, right, owned by a certain people from a land, right, they're not going
Okay.
to care about those prisoners because they know that that's not their people. They're just going
But
to sell them off.
but the people have been living in the land for generations. I mean, after a while, I mean, let's be honest. Even with whites aren't going to let a group of people just come in and take all blacks out of the country. If blacks are a part of the, first of all, black people are a part of an economic source, so they damn sure ain't gonna let people take. Just think about it, if a group of people just said, you know what, we want to take all the blacks out of America. White
Yeah, I
people
mean,
will
we're talking about white
white
people,
white white
but
people fight tooth and nail to keep niggas in the country. They're like, oh no, we
right,
need to.
but we all know how niggas do though. We sell each we sell each other out for nothing.
I mean,
You know what I mean?
you're making
So
a point, but
I mean, I see where you're getting at, man. But we're not gonna come to terms with this, man. This is gonna always be kind of like
You've been
classic.
brainwashed
You know what I
by
mean?
hidden colors, Russ. Yeah, I mean,
he said it in color.
Yo, what's your beliefs, Money Boy Trey? Like, what's your thing?
I just typed in the chat. It could have been I could have been their warehouse for import and export or their loading dock. We just automatically assumed it was slave quarters. And we did say in Egypt they had this way of getting around on boats and they had one of the biggest import exports. Why couldn't those been docks set up by Egyptians to ship and receive goods? Not necessarily humans. Yeah, I mean,
Oh man, you guys. Yeah, man, we're not gonna come to terms with this.
Hey Rush, hey, yeah, tomorrow, man, please go into your barbershop and I would probably even go live tomorrow if you went to your barbershop. He's like, I got a guy to talk to you because I can only imagine. I can only imagine kind of like where this is gonna go.
Yo, I'm not. Yo, man, I'm not. Yo, come on,
you
man.
gotta say,
Don't do.
listen to these niggas, man. Play that shit on the TV, man. Man, listen to these niggas.
Oh man. Yo, you guys are funny. Oh,
Harriet
Like I said,
Tubman
man,
was like MacGyver.
I just question everything, man. Like I said, one thing I do know is that people will lie to you, and the white man isn't as angelic as people think. And if he's writing it in the books, and if he's supporting it, it gotta be bullshit. Because the white man, I mean, think about it. Think about it. The white man, and listen, the white man is not your friend. He's not your ally. So if he's putting something in the book about black people, like, oh, look at this good black person right here, it has to be a reason why he's doing it. There's not. Listen, the white man isn't benign. The white man is not in the business of doing working with you on the same equal playing field. He's in the business of competing with you and conquering you. So every time he does something, and especially when it comes to niggas, it's like there's a reason why. Like if there's a nigga who becomes a CEO of Apple, like why did they make that nigga the CEO of Apple? There's a reason why they did it. It's always a reason. Like even Obama, like even when they made him president, I was like, there's a reason why they put this nigga. There's a reason why all these white people put this nigga in office. They ain't doing it just because they some happy, nice people. It's a reason why. It's a hidden agenda.
Russ.
So
How
when they talked about Harriet Tubman in school, I said, "Oh no, this has to be something." White people they love Harriet Tubman too much.
Kev, let me ask you a question. How much do you think Harriet Tubman got per head for each slave she took to the next white man?
So you really believe that? So that was a theory that I've gotten. So that's a theory too that I've always thought. Back in the day, she probably got $50 a head. So which is probably equivalent of maybe a couple of $1,000s now. And truth be told, you have blacks like that right now who would do some shit like that.
Yeah, I hate to admit it, but yeah.
And she probably was doing that. She probably was taking other blacks to different blacks to different. I mean, think about this: if there was a competition amongst slave owners who had competing businesses or something, it's a possibility that a slave owner could be like, "Hey, you little black bitch, go do this for me, and I give you $1,000 a head."
And they were stupid enough to follow a woman, so they were stupid enough to get them and get duped again.
And truth be told, like, what if that happened? Like, there's a lot of things about history that, let me see, God fearing, hell, your own people ain't your friend and ain't with you. Yeah, and maybe that's the case. Maybe see, and that was a theory that I thought, but I was like, nah, it's no way in hell, man. Like nobody could be that evil. But then again, maybe she was like that. Maybe she was taking fucking slaves to different white plantations and shit.
But where else would she take them? It's not like she had land for them to go live on and shit to do. She literally had to take them, unless we saying she took them to other black families who had to then take them in, even though they probably didn't have their own businesses and shit like that. She literally took them to other white people.
Listen, when I was a kid growing up, MoneyBoy Train Rush, they made it seem in a tragedy of a child's brain is that it's in the development stages where you can't really critically think and analyze. They made it seem like this, man, that this bitch went into the plantation, somehow convinced these people within 2 or 3 minutes to leave. They left their families and everything. They walked with her for months. They got to Ohio, and then they somehow had boats waiting for them at Lake Erie, and then they crossed over Lake Erie like it was just fucking normal, and they got into Canada and they lived these free lives. But when you were a child listening to that, your brain is in such a development stage that you don't think like how did they traverse the water when they got over the water from Ohio to Canada? What did they do then? And what if it was the winter in Canada? Like where did they go? And like those are the things that they don't teach you in school. They just teach you like this cartoon version. And that's why I say maybe the shit was just a fucking character. Maybe she's a character. So
Bruh,
you
oh, go ahead.
and maybe you are right. Maybe the easier answer is maybe she just took these motherfucking blacks to other plantations that she had knowledge of. And maybe she was like you say, like maybe she was a bed wench or some shit. And maybe she was just fucking other. I don't know, man. You just never know, man. You have a lot of blacks like that now.
She was the only one with the weapon. She could have been kidnapping them.
She could have been kidnapping them.
I mean, there's a lot of theories that could go into this, and we could not debate, but analyze what happened. But I mean, yo, maybe this shit is made up, man. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Listen, Russ, one thing about me, man, listen, I don't believe any fucking thing, dude. I just never have. I'm like, oh, okay.
She said,
Especially when white people are telling you something about black people. That's when I really don't believe it. Hey, you know who John Amos is?
"Yep, good
I was
good
I was
times, Dad."
Yeah, I was watching some interviews that he did with Vlad and Lunel. And he had made he made an interesting comment that I didn't even fucking think of. He said none of the writers on Good Times were black. Ain't that a bitch? Think about it, Rush. None of the writers on Good Times were black. And he said they used to protest about that. Like they used to be like, why can't we get black people in here to write? He said,
Because they weren't prominent back in Hollywood at that time.
yeah, he said, how could you write about a black family and you're not even black?
How could he act on a show about a black family written by a white person?
Written by a white person. And
He
that's what I'm
decided to go for that role.
And that's what I'm saying, man. Like there's a lot of things about whites that just really are just fascinating to me. And that's one of them. Maybe whites have written the fucking history books to the point where they think like they got you believing that shit. Like they got you believing that those ports in Africa were slave dungeons to keep you in this terrified, oh, we were slaves thing. But maybe they were just administrative officers. Who fucking knows?
Every time you say administrative office, I die laughing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really believe it. I believe it's motherfuckers in there just, they didn't have computers and shit, but they were in there with papers and pens and shit, just like, just writing people off. Yeah, that's all I think that shit was.
Yo.
It was the lock in the visiting team's locker room, bro.
But what if it was a slave dungeon?
What if it
What
was
if
a
it
slave? What if it was? I
Well,
mean, that's
well, no. Let's not flip this now. I'm asking you. What if it was a slave dungeon? Would you still have the state of mind you have now?
if it was a slave dungeon, I would agree that if it was a slave dungeon, I would say that damn, like these people were horrible. Like these people figured out how to exploit another group of people, and they pretty much took them without their will. I would agree with it. But again, we don't know whether that was a slave dungeon or not. We don't know whether African villages were taking other people and they were a part of some elaborate slave scheme or some shit. I don't know.
What if it was just a regular county jail?
Yeah, but if it's a regular county jail.
I mean, I mean, these are very. I mean, this is pretty touchy, but you know, I'm glad I'm not having this discussion at a barbershop.
That could
I'm
be
glad I'm
like
not either.
Alcatraz, yo. Because I mean, if you want to escape, go straight into the sea. Peace. You know you ain't gonna make it. Man, fuck them niggas in the barbershop, man. They gotta open their mind. They gotta take some red pills.
Well, I mean, Buddy Boy Trey, he still has to be careful too, man. Niggas are volatile. What nigga? You telling me that fucking Harriet Tubman wasn't slave? She wasn't freeing the slaves, walking them up to Canada, nigga? Well, I mean, you gotta look at it from what logical point, nigga? Like niggas are stupid. I mean, yeah, they don't want to fucking think.
Rush just go into Supercuts and find the John B looking dude, and you can have that conversation with him, and your fade will be tight.
Yo, you're funny as hell. Yo,
What nigga? What? You mean to tell me, nigga, you don't believe she was freeing the slaves and had a musket with her? Well, I mean, sir, a musket could probably kill a mole rat, but I don't think it could kill like a nigga. What? It could kill a bear, nigga. Sir, a musket can't. Okay, okay.
But she
You
can't
can't.
reload quick enough to shoot enough rounds
Yeah,
that
she
it would
could,
take to
nigga. She
kill
was
a bear.
she was fast enough to do it, nigga. Niggas, I'm telling you, like they don't have a brain. Like they can't think. Like
yo. I mean, you got to give my people some credit, man.
It
no,
was a
listen,
one-shot pistol, bro. It wasn't no double barrel shotgun.
Rush, listen, I give black people credit where credit is due. I always talk about the Nation of Islam and what the Nation of Islam has done because I've seen it. I've seen a lot of their institutions that still exist to this day. I remember being a kid and there was a school that was ran by the Nation of Islam and those kids were highly fucking disciplined. And what I'm saying is that I give credit where credit is due, but I also am not going to sit here and say that Harriet Tubman was some superhero like the way they make it. No, the bitch probably was a fucking slave trader, or to a degree.
Maybe,
The evidence is leaning that way, bro. Cause that heroic shit
maybe
that she
so.
did, just she was better than fucking Davy Crockett.
Like I said, I just find it hard to believe. But see, the thing is that a, a lot of times when you're telling stories, if you don't have everything in a row, like your ducks in a row, your story can fall. What got me as a kid was the whole thing with me being from Cleveland, and they talked about the slaves got to Lake Erie and they crossed Lake Erie. I'm like, nigga, Lake Erie ain't no goddamn swimming pool. Lake Erie's 200 fucking miles across. How the fuck did they? You mean tell me that these motherfuckers got on a little boat? Where would the boat? Okay, they got on some sort of a boat and they pedaled for 200 miles. I imagine how long that would have taken. What food did they have? I mean, yeah, there are no sharks and shit in Lake Erie, but Lake Erie has choppy fucking waters. Get the fuck out of here. Ain't like
or
they had a
no coat.
yeah with no coat. And then if that were the case, there must be dead. There has to be dead bodies of slaves in Lake Erie now. If that were the case,
You gotta understand, Kev, they ate the dead bodies, so they turned it to cannibals because they didn't have no choice because it was a long
Jesus,
ride.
I don't believe it, man.
Come on, talk us through this one, Rush. I know you got a example, a loophole for this one.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
No,
honestly, man. Yeah,
no,
go ahead, go ahead, Kev.
the niggas in Rush's barbershop would say, "Nigga, they had a helicopter at Lake Erie waiting for him in 1800." Sir, sir, there were no helicopters invented in 1800. Man, I'll beat the fuck out of you, nigga. Sir, you're gonna attack me because I'm telling you that there were no helicopters made. They just weren't. They didn't. Nigga, you believe everything the white man tell you, sir. They didn't have helicopters in. Okay, whatever, sir.
Kev, they had a U-boat waiting for them when they got to Lake Erie.
Oh man. Yo, y'all funny for
Dude,
real.
let me tell you something, Rush. I live in Cleveland. Like the lake is literally you can see it from different parts of the city, wherever you are in the city sometimes. I had like dude, like when I do my daily runs, I used to run to Lake Erie. Like when especially it's warm outside, I run to Lake Erie. Sir, Lake Erie is not a goddamn swimming pool, sir. It's a huge fucking lake. It's huge. It's 200 fucking miles from Cleveland to Canada. Think about that for a minute. It takes 3.5 hours to drive in a car from Cleveland to Columbus, and that's 200 miles. Just think about a fucking boat ride with no motor, because the slaves didn't have a motorboat. You there,
Yeah,
sir?
that's true.
They didn't
Yeah,
have a.
paddles. Probably had them paddling.
And Harriet didn't have a horse, or a car, or a carriage, or a boat.
Yeah, man. Dude, if I was in that barbershop, they probably would chase me out, Rush.
Yo, man. Yo, man. Like I said, man, I respect your curiosity and how you just go against the grain of everything. You know,
Yeah. Hey, MoneyBoy
I
Trey, I gotta ask
respect
you.
that.
Thanks, Moneyboy. I gotta ask you a question on MoneyBoy Trey, and I'm not trying to troll.
I'm listening.
It must have been really, really, really hard for you and that brain down in Tennessee, man. With those dummies that live in Tennessee with you, man.
Pretty much.
Yeah, because you must have had to like really play dumb around a lot of those. Because I listen, it's dummies in Ohio, but I know it's some dumbass niggas in Tennessee, man.
Yep, we all have to play dumb at a certain point around niggas.
Yeah,
That's what we have to do to fit in and be cool. Which is strange. Why do we want to fit in and be cool with dumb niggas?
because they hurt you, man. Like I'm telling you, listen. I bet you if I were to drive to Boston where Rush is at and go to that barbershop tomorrow and bring this up, them niggas would attack me. I'd be like, sir, they didn't have helicopters in 1800. Man, say it one more time, nigga. I'm telling you, like that's how niggas are. They attack you.
I'm
They
not
want.
in Boston. I'm in New Jersey,
Yeah,
man.
New Jersey. My fault. New Jersey. Yeah, they will. Oh, New Jersey, shit, they'll kill me. They'll put some hot.
5% or something.
He said New Jersey. Yeah, they'll kill you now. Like, sir, they didn't have helicopters in the year 1800. Man, I'm about to sissy slap this little hoe ass nigga. Say it again, nigga.
Pause. Suck my
Pause.
dick.
Yeah, pause. They be like, hold on, pause. What?
Yo, you guys are hilarious.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, man. You got to question everything, bro. Listen, when I started questioning things at 6 years old, my life totally changed, man.
Russ, do you question 9/11?
Oh yeah, of course.
But you don't question Harriet Tubman, bro. That's fucked up.
I mean, yo, man, like it's not like I'm like an advocate for Harriet Tubman, you know.
Yes, you are. You've been sipping for her the whole show. You gotta understand, it was Harriet.
Nah, not really, but you know, I could see why you're saying that because I guess you guys want me to be like, yeah, the shit is fake, the shit never happened, but
Yes,
you know,
denounce her now.
yeah,
Like I'm just thinking about the southern terrain. This bitch didn't have no machete to cut down wild growth or nothing. She just marching.
By herself, mind you, too, most of the time to the north.
yo, I can't believe I'm trolling Harriet Tubman, dog.
It's black
This is
bears,
crazy.
coyotes, and wolves at night. It's venomous snakes, and she just surpassed all that shit. And she's a woman. Get the fuck out of
Maybe
here.
the slave master called on the rotary phone.
What?
Maybe the slave master called her on a rotary phone and she
Jesus.
picked up.
Oh my god. And then and
Daniel,
then and then niggas say they got pictures of her, nigga. Nigga, it's like 4 pictures that exist. Get the fuck out of here.
And it's a drawing. That ain't a real picture of Harriet Tubman. This shit is a drawing. They didn't have Polaroids back then.
They got one picture of her where she's supposedly some old black woman. She's like in her 90s. I'm like, that could be any old black bitch. What the fuck are you talking about?
Bruh, they
yo,
did not have
man.
Polaroids. That's why every depiction of the Civil War and shit are fucking cartoon pictures. They drew that shit. You see him in the red and blue uniforms with muskets and shit and cannonballs. That shit is drawn. She came shortly after that.
Yeah, Rush, man. Like I said, man. Like hopefully tomorrow, man, you would show the flag, man, and just be like, hey, man, I know this dude, Kevininsales, man. He questions everything. I don't necessarily. I don't. But see, they might get mad at you for even bringing it up. Though they be like, nigga, how you know this nigga?
Yeah, man. I'm
He over
alright, man.
he over here saying that she didn't do all that shit in the dress, nigga. They like, yeah, niggas are stupid.
Nah, they gonna say he was a stand up real G because he held his square. You stood on your square, nigga. You ain't go. When that nigga told you to denounce Harriet Tubman, you was like, fuck this shit, son. You real nigga, yo.
Pause. They don't say pause in New Jersey, right? That's like a New York thing. I
Nah,
always say like
that's
New
a
York
New
shit.
York thing.
Like what the like?
Yeah,
Why y'all
that's a
say
New
pause?
York thing, man.
Like a nigga can say it's like so the sentence can go the man went to the moon. Niggas from New York can say the pause man went to the moon. Like why did you say pause? That didn't make any fucking sense.
It's the hood nigga version of period.
But they do it at the wrong times anyway. They be like the pause. The man went to the moon. Like well okay that didn't make any sense. But all right.
So do black hoes, they'd be like, you a bitch ass nigga. Period.
Yo, y'all are mad funny.
But yeah, man, like I said before, man, like if you start questioning everything, man, like it's just wild to me. And then like they always talk about the Arab slave trade. I'm like, the Arab slave trade? That's just some other bullshit that you hear about to make it seem like the Arabs are just so superior. Like, no.
I mean, we don't need to get into all that. That's just good. That's a whole different topic.
It
But
is, man. But Russ, what I want you to do
you
tomorrow
know,
is, man, is I want you to go into that barber shop. First thing you
yo,
do, tell your barber
why how come he can't do that?
who
Why can't MoneyBoy Trade do that? Go to
he
his
probably does
barbershop and
do
talk
it.
about this.
Bro, I will have this conversation with any fucking brother. Me and Lord Slick. It wasn't about Harriet Tubman, but I was telling him last night he was a Negro laziness apologist. I'm like, bro, everything you got is an excuse for niggas. So I had this conversation with anybody about the slavery part, about the Harriet Tubman part. That this is I've just learned some new gems just to hit niggas with now. the boots and dresses, classic.
Yeah.
And then
And,
back in the day, they didn't just have on a regular dress. They had on like a slip, and they were big and frilly and all that shit. No pockets.
like I said, man, like I would have this conversation with anybody, bro. Like I've been known to get chased out of black establishments because, like I
Yo,
said,
I could imagine. Like,
because
and
niggas get so.
you're not you don't sugarcoat it either, man. You're
I
pretty
don't.
direct with it too.
Yeah, I
You
don't.
know.
I just say, listen, man, maybe the bitch didn't exist because again, how did she traverse through the goddamn south, get to the north, and then what does she do with the slaves? The slaves have some magical boat and traversed over the Lake Erie. Get the fuck out of
Yo,
here. That shit sounds
just alone, you calling her a bitch, that'll be an issue. You know what I mean?
right.
Man, fuck that
Niggas
bitch.
just don't.
Claudiva
Like,
said, "Wait, did you say she was a slave trader?" Yeah, she probably was a slave trader. She probably went from. She listen. She got in on the tail end of the conversation, but it's a possibility that Harriet Tubman took slaves from other plantations and brought them to other slave masters on other plantations and shit. Yes,
bro, she took the boat back across Lake Erie by herself to go pick up some new slaves. She had to come back by herself. And
It-
then
Yo, I
where
hope
was
this shit
the
don't get
boat?
flagged.
Where was the boat docked while she took the time to walk through 4 states?
that's what, dude, and like that's what got me as a kid. I'm like, damn, were the boats just waiting there like it was a video game or some shit? They were just waiting there for her. Get the fuck out of here. Who made the boat? It had, some white man just had a boat here, and he just, oh yeah, you niggas can have the
Rock,
boat.
Rockstar Games made the boat. It's GTA.
Right? It's
Oh shit.
but come on, Rush. But come on, man. Go into the barbershop tomorrow and say, listen, guys, just go in there and say, I got a funny idea, guys. Now I know you guys don't talk like that in Jersey, but be like, I got a funny idea. Do you guys ever wonder if Harriet Tubman was like going back and forth? Did she ever encounter like any black bears or wolves? Just see what and Rush, just see what they say though. Just see what they say. Like ease them into the conversation. Like let them answer. Let the dumb niggas answer. And if one of them say, yeah, man, she had to have, man, and they be like, oh, okay, well, if she encountered like a black bear, what do you think happened? Let them answer the question. Like that's how you do with niggas, man. And so I'm about to train you right quick, all right, Rush. So go in there, and this is what you do, because I know some dumb niggas in there. I know. And be like, hey, and when she encountered a black bear, what did she do? And the nigga be like, man, what the fuck you mean she did, nigga? She shot him with her shotgun, nigga. And like, oh, okay, yeah. How many rounds you think she had in her shotgun, brother? And they be like, man, she probably had like 50 rounds. Niggas don't know about shotgun. She probably had 50 rounds in her shotgun. And then, and let the niggas just talk themselves into a hole. Like, oh yeah, and then wait, what did she do when she got the slaves to Ohio? Like, what did they do when they got to like Lake Erie, man? Oh, nigga, they went to Canada. Like, oh yeah, hey, did you know that Canada was like 200 miles away from Cleveland, like over the lake? Yeah, man. Like, oh okay, yeah. Like, how long was that boat ride journey? Oh man, it must have. Let them niggas let them answer the question. Maybe that could work for
Yo. Yo, you are funny.
because,
And the
like I
answer, when
said,
you hear their answers, then you're gonna be like, "Is that what I sounded like last night?"
because like I said, Rush, because then they would answer themselves into stupidity. And then it's not like see my thing is I would go into your barbershop. Well, you said you're in New Jersey, so I probably wouldn't. New Jersey's a little bit more dangerous, but then again I probably would. I'd probably go in there and be like, hey, listen, guys, listen, Harriet Tubman didn't exist. There's no fucking way that she could have got past all those animals. The terrain was too hard for her by herself. I don't give a fuck what y'all think. That's what I would do, but I know it's a different day. Yeah, yeah. And just ask them, bro. Hey, ask your barber. Hey, what do you think would have happened if she would have encountered a wolf? Just ask him, because your barber ain't never seen a wolf before. So remember, he's just reading shit in books. He doesn't know how big a wolf is. He doesn't know how vicious a wolf is. But just ask him, like, hey, what would she have done if you would have captured a wolf? And then the nigga be like, oh yeah, she would have just shot him. But what if it had been two wolves? Well, she would have shot both of them, nigga. This bitch a sharpshooter, huh?
With a musket.
Yo,
With a musket.
yo,
In her
this
dress.
is crazy.
No military training.
Dope military training.
Yo, y'all was funny, man.
Hey man, one thing about me, Rush, but I've been asking these questions for years, bro. And like I said, I would rather just be the outcast than be a fucking sheep, man. I'm not calling you a sheep. I'm talking about like the people that you know, because it's weird how black people think, man. Like, and I think that's the reason why we're so susceptible to anything.
Yeah, I mean,
But one
you know
thing you
how.
don't. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
But one thing I do not advise you to do, sir. Even I wouldn't do it. Don't tell them niggas that those were some like those weren't slave ports that in Ghana. Because if you tell them niggas that those were like processing centers, them niggas have chased you up out of the barbershop.
My stomach hurt.
Oh man,
They were chasing. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was county jail, bro.
Like, hey guys, like, what if that wasn't like? What if those weren't slave ports? What if those were like processing centers where, like, if like the white man went over there and he didn't really know the language, so he built these places and almost like like a processing center where it was interpreters, and basically he was saying like, there's a new world and you guys want to come work in the new world. Them niggas would be like, what, nigga? Those were fucking slave quarters, nigga. They had slaves in there, about hundreds in there, just shitting and pissing everywhere for no reason. And I'm like, huh?
yo,
It was
Yeah.
Amazon Pan African.
you're hilarious. But yo, man, I'm about to break out.
Absolutely, man. It's good talking to you guys. I'm gonna re-listen to this in a couple of days. This is actually a funny. Yeah.
This definitely was a dope subject matter. Yeah, I mean, I wish we could have touched on Michael whooping Bruce Lee's ass, but
Might kill Bruce Lee. Yeah, kill him. It's a size difference. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, he will fuck him up like they know.
It's a size difference. Like a smaller athletic man can't beat a bigger athletic man. It's just impossible. Like, dude, I saw Shaq boxing Sugar Shane Mosley one time, and I'm like, yeah, if Shaq really went full throttle, he would actually kill this dude. And Sugar Shane Mosley is a fucking high level professional boxer.
Yeah.
I'm like,
professional.
Yeah, I'm like, he was just, I mean, like, it's just a size difference. Like, he could punch you one time and kill you. He could fucking
he would definitely overpower him.
Yeah,
man.
But of course, Shaq was holding back. It was a celebrity boxing match. But he boxed what's the other guys in the Puerto Rican dude? My head is shaking now. He fought Mayweather. Jesus Christ.
Madonna?
Oscar De La Hoya. Yeah, Shaq fought Oscar De La Hoya one time. I was like,
De La Hoya is not Puerto Rican though. He's Mexican.
Yeah, and he was, again, Shaq was holding back. And I'm like, if Shaq really was to fucking box this dude, he would murder him within 20 seconds. So
the Spanish were enslaved.
The who?
I was telling Rush the Hispanics were enslaved.
No, hey, Don Philly, no, the original topic tonight was supposed to be about, it was Harriet Tubman real. I didn't want to put that in the title because I didn't want to get the channel stuck. Because that's something that YouTube would take away. Like, they'd take away your shit if you put that in the title.
Put this as the title.
Nah.
Funny facts about Harriet Tubman.
Yeah, I think that. Oh, I'm gonna do that. That's better. All right.
Money boy. Trade. Private jet flights overseas.